at Agborough, it's Kidderminster Harriers versus Needham Market. Can they go 7 without defeat and make ground on the top 2? Chris Williams is at Agborough on 104 and 104.6 FM and online.
Welcome to Agborough, where the sun is just starting to break through ahead of this game in the Vanarama National League North between Kidderminster Harriers and Needham Market. And after the events of Tuesday night, when against Scunthorpe United, where it was all drama, well, from the Harriers' point of view, just 3 points and a comfortable win by a couple of goals will see them through today against a side that's struggling at the wrong end of the table. Just waiting for the two sets of players to make their way out. Looks as though it's a decent crowd here today on non-league day, and unusually we've got Harriers supporters at both ends of the ground. So away to my right, which is normally reserved for the away fans, well, there's only about 30 that have made the trip from Needham Market today, so the Harriers are taking up the right-hand side of the terracing there. So Harriers side shows one change today, with Dave Worrell dropping out through injury. Went off injured against Scunthorpe on Tuesday, and his place has been taken by Riley Reynolds. So Harriers will line up with Christian Dibble in goal, a back three of Caleb Richards, Carl Morrison and Rhys McNally. In midfield, Riley Reynolds, Cam Candler, Zach Brown and Rhys Devine, with Maz Kuya back in form, Amari Morgan-Smith and Ashley Hemmings up front. There's good news on the bench, with Ben Beresford appearing for the first time since the 12th of November after injury, and he lines up alongside Tom Palmer, Paul Dowding, Charlie Lutz and David Davis. David Davis scored one goal for Harriers so far. That was against Needham Market earlier in the season, and the visitors make 3 changes today after they were beaten by Spennymoor in the week. So they line up with Marcus Garnham in goal. A back four, Jason Dye comes into the side. At right back, Kyle Hammond and Kieran Morphew. Tommy Smith is the left back. In midfield, Jacob Lay, Tevin Allen, Luke Ingham and Ben Hunter. And up front, Teddy Collis comes in up alongside Jamie McGrath. On the bench for them, Seth Chambers, Josh Tomlinson drops to the bench, as does Jake Watkins. Jake Lundkell and Iffy Allen also dropping down to the bench. Players are out there. Harriers in red and white half shirts, red shorts and red socks, and Needham Market in navy blue with a hint of yellow across the shoulders and down the sleeve. Our referee today is Matthew Jackson, and his assistants are Jack Shepherd and Christopher Hudson, the fourth official being Brandon Scaife. So as I say, decent crowd in here, and Harriers, a big game to come against Brackley on Tuesday, but they need to get over this one first, and they're no mugs, although they're fourth from bottom, Needham Market. They only just lost at Spennymoor on Tuesday, and they actually beat Chorley in their last home game, and they also got a point at Chester at the beginning of March. So they're a side that on the whole is difficult to break down, although they have a goal difference of -23. Harriers are on +35. And that's really important for Harriers, and if they can increase that today, their goal difference is actually worth a point on the two teams above them. Brackley are on +21 and Chester on +24. Curzon Ashton below them on +21. So that goal difference at the moment for Harriers is worth a point, and that could be crucial come the end of the season. So we're just waiting for the two captains to meet in the middle. Amari Morgan-Smith for Harriers and Kieran Morphew for the visitors. And as I say, it's a dry day, sun just starting to break through. Pitch is a little bit bare in patches. It's had a lot of football this season. But if Harriers can take the 3 points here today, the big match at the top is Scunthorpe against Chester, and I think anyone to do with Harriers here will be hoping that can end up in a draw. Be a good atmosphere there at Glanford Park. With the last I saw, 8,500 tickets have been sold for that one. But it'll be Needham Market to kick off. They'll be kicking from right to left in this first half, so attacking the town end. Harriers attacking what was the old college end. Joined as ever by Matty Paddock. Bring him in to get his early thoughts. Matty, after, as I was saying, the drama of Tuesday, could do with a mundane three-pointer here.
Yeah, I'm not sure there'll ever be quite such a thing here at Agborough. I mean, Needham Market coming with every bit to play for, as Scunthorpe United did in midweek. The end goal is different, but every bit is important. So nothing's for nothing at this stage of the season, and yeah, plenty up for grabs. Fascinating to see how it unfolds.
I was looking at social media this morning, and someone had put on there, a Harriers supporter, who would just be typical if having beaten Scunthorpe, they don't win this one this afternoon. But we're up and running. Christian Dibble in all pink, clearing long, and it's met by Kieran Morphew, the skipper for Needham Market, and an early throw in for Harriers that Rhys McNally will take just in front of the dugouts. It's a return ball from Candela, brings it inside, but good pressing there by Jacob Lay, and Harriers are forced all the way back to their keeper, who clears to the halfway line. Nice little touch on by Hemmings, but hooked forward by Morphew again, and scrappy little passage of play there ends with the visitors conceding a throw in midway inside the Harriers half. Good atmosphere here this afternoon. I thought we were approaching 3,000. Looks as though there's probably about 50 Needham Market supporters in the right hand side of the purple granite stand over on the far side, and they're watching as Rhys Devine is in possession on that side of the pitch, but forced backwards. Richards goes across the pitch, just gives Carl Morrison a little bit of a sprint there, as the ball to him was a little bit loose. And that's a poor ball from the former Surly Hole man, a rare mistake by him, looking for Riley Reynolds, but was intercepted, and Needham Market have a throw in just inside the Harriers half. Tommy Smith will take, the left back. Looking for some movements, all pretty static in front of him at the moment. They're in no hurry. Jacob Lay comes short, but goes over his head, and McNally heads it forward, but Harriers can't get it clear, and it's Needham in possession out on the left hand side. And there's a foul there, referee saw it. Riley Reynolds a little bit too keen there, and has conceded a free kick in a position that gives Needham Market an opportunity to get the centre backs forward and whip this ball into the box. It'll be a right-footed in-swinger. Referee steps out 10 yards. Ashley Hemmings is probably about 15 yards back at the moment. Just a solitary man trying to block off the cross. So the free kick comes in from the left-hand side, and it's headed just wide. It was Luke Ingram that came in there and really should have put that one away. It was a glancing header, and he had the whole of the goal to aim for, and he's put it wide of Dibble's left-hand post. So there's an early warning for Harriers coming on 3 minutes. Just didn't connect as he would have wanted to with the head there. Luke Ingram. So it was a sloppy free kick given away by Reynolds in no man's land, and almost made to pay. So they just need to get onto the toes here, Harriers. Nice header on to Hemmings from Morgan Smith, but again won back by the visitors, and Candelo is across to concede a throw in at 15 yards inside the Harriers half. So they haven't started on the front foot, Harriers, which when they do, always look a better side when they've got pace from the word go and get onto that front foot. As it is, most of the first 4 minutes has been inside the Harriers half, and it'll remain there because again they've conceded a throw in. It was Candela there who sliced the ball into this near touchline, or over the near touchline. Throw-ins taken again. McNally heads it on, but just came off the head there of Jacob Lay, and Harriers now have the throw. McNally will take. not a great deal of urgency from either side in this opening 5 minutes. Morgan Smith getting a header on again, but Morphew is across there, wins it, and at the second attempt playing it forward there, looking for Ingram. Morrison's across and conceded the throw in, so we're used to seeing them on the front foot from the word go in these last 7 games. It's not been the case today, Matty.
You talked about lack of urgency. I mean, it certainly excuse me, it misses that. It's missing the big game feel of Tuesday night, and not sure why, because in many respects it's a bigger game, it's a bigger crowd, and yeah, that's I'm a bit lost on that, really. Everything feels a little bit sedate out there, doesn't it?
Yeah, the crowd are giving it, making it to be a good atmosphere, and the fact that Harriers supporters are on all 4 sides, because there's probably about 600 or so in the on the terrace behind Marcus Garnham's goal. So they will be a good atmosphere all around the ground. But it just started a little bit flat. Good header forward by Carl Hammond there into the Harriers half. He gets a second attempt here, but again Harriers just guilty at the moment of perhaps just sitting back a little bit instead of getting onto that front foot. But they've got an opportunity now. Hemmings in possession, just inside his own half. Finds Kuya, nice turn from Kuya, and out to Devine on the left-hand side. Now Harriers getting men forward. Reynolds just can't stretch it, and it's gone behind for a goal kick. But all created. Hemmings first of all, but Kuya, because he's confident now and in form, he was playing on the half turn and immediately set Devine away on the left-hand side.
And they moved the ball quickly, each player involved, didn't they? Hemmings, Devine, Kuya, everything was a sense of urgency. They've upped the ante there and upped the pace of the game slightly, and very nearly got their rewards there. Riley Reynolds has slid in on a very muddy pitch. His kit now, the rear of his kit, looks like he's been playing for 90 minutes, but he won't mind that.
Just could tell you it's Chorley 1, Alfreton 0 in the National League North. Chorley up in 7th place in the table coming into this game, and they were beaten by Needham Market rather surprisingly a couple of games ago, but they've taken an early lead here at Agborough. It's Kidderminster Harriers 0, Needham Market 0. Carl Morrison at the back finding Caleb Richards on the left hand side, and Harriers just at the moment happy to build slowly from the back. Candida though is onto it and then quickly spreads it to the left hand side to Devine, but Harriers being pressed, so going backwards. And now Richards comes inside, out to Devine, closed down quickly again though, late challenge there, and Devine has gone down and just nipped him, but they are pressing well in these early minutes, Needham, and stopping Harriers from getting onto that front foot. But as I was saying, you look at the difference in Maz Kuya since he got back onto the into the scoring a few games ago, and he created that opening. When he's not confident, he comes away from goal, but there he was on the half turn, and when you do that you can bring other players into play as an attacking force, and that's what he did for Devine. Got the all-important goal, albeit fortuitously, against Scunthorpe on Tuesday night. 10 for the season he's got now, and Harriers are in possession. Again, the ball from Brown wasn't the best for McNally, forced him backwards, but now here comes Reynolds on the right hand side, inside to Hemmings. He goes back to Morrison, and now Richards. Ball's gone from right to left. It's Devine, now Candela playing in front of the back three. Back to Morrison, crossfield ball from him, looking for Reynolds, who takes it up stretch but couldn't control it on the right hand side of the area, and it's gone behind for the goal kick. Reynolds, as you were saying, Matty, looks as though he's been rolling in the mud. You know, you wouldn't think the game was 9 minutes old. He's got it on his back and down his left hand side.
Yep. Harry's playing in red and white, he's playing in brown and white by the look of it at the minute. Again, he won't mind that. He absolutely threw himself at his chance as Rhys McNally gets called into some defending. Christian Dibble with some quick feet there made that look very simple. I'm not too sure it was.
Reynolds down the right hand side finds Brown. Back to Hemmings, now to Reynolds again. Takes it inside. We'll look to the left, will he? No, he'll go backwards to Morrison. He only played a very brief cameo role, Riley Reynolds, against Scunthorpe, as he tries to get Devine away on the left-hand side with the flags up for offside. I don't think he even had 10 minutes, but the sprinting that he did in that 10 minutes at the end when they were looking to close Scunthorpe down and prevent them from creating anything, he really did cover some distance and was just sprinting after everything. So he's going to have to just be a little bit more conservative today, playing in that wing-back position. Dave Worrell out through injury. Goalkeeper Marcus Garnham. It's a reasonable distance on the free kick. Not the tallest Garnham, in playing in orange in the Needham Market goal. Very solid looking figure. The Watchers, as his side, have a throw in midway inside the Harriers half. Phil Brown getting frustrated with the amount of time they're taking over these restarts. Just throwing his hands up in the air there in frustration. But still waiting for a decent opportunity for Harriers to force the keeper into a save. What can they do here, as Morgan Smith was on the charge, but Jake Dye was across there to concede a throw in, which Richards will take. Candler offers himself, and well, it's another throw in the same place. Just nipped in there did Jamie McGrath, took the ball off the toes of Candler, who goes back to Morrison, who's now inside his own half. They're holding their shape well, our Needham Market at the moment. They've got 2 banks of 4. In fact, almost playing a 5 in the middle, leaving just Jacob Lay up front. And now they're back. They've just robbed Candler there, and he, in his frustration, in fact it wasn't Candler, it was Kuya, in his frustration, just pulled back at his opponent. They're going to look as though, Matty, they're going to take some breaking down here.
Yeah, but they've come with some enthusiasm to do that defensive work, haven't they? As you said, they're prepared not just to sit back and sit deep, but they're prepared to press as well. So it's a real conundrum for Harriers, but again, into this real final climax of the season, these are the puzzles you need to be able to solve, and the defences you need to be able to unlock big games and big points up for grabs.
And to be fair to them, they're quite fluid in their formation. When Harriers are in possession, they pull back to a 5 in midfield, but when they have the ball, then they press up with 3 up front. So that's something Harriers just need to be a little bit careful of, and not get lulled into thinking that it's just going to be a midfield battle, because they do push 2 players wide in forward positions when they have the ball, which they do at the moment. Not for long though, as Richards clears to the halfway line. Will come back though. Jason Dye with a long ball forward. Morrison's underneath it, concedes the throw in with a header. It's all getting a little bit tense at the moment in terms of that early chance that Needham Market had. Luke Ingram with a header that probably should have put his side ahead. Not probably, it should have done. Ball's on the halfway line with Ben Hunter playing it forward. Now Hammond out to the left-hand side to Smith, but he's robbed by Riley Reynolds. But again, not a good ball from him, just sold Hemmings short, and the ball comes into the area. Richards is underneath it, and Candler tidies up. Devine is back there and looking to play a long ball forward, but it came back off Lay and out for Harriers throw in over on that far side. I would have thought there may be just a little bit in the Harriers' legs from all the work they did on Tuesday. They had Wednesday off and then back in preparing for today. We've had 14 minutes. It's Harriers 0, Needham Market 0. Harriers 4th. Their opponents in 21st place, which is 4th from bottom. And now Harriers can break forward. Bit of space on the right-hand side for Reynolds. He's got Hemmings ahead of him. Goes on the outside. Can he get the cross in? No, he can't. And the final touch came off the defender, Tommy Smith, and behind for the first corner of the game. It's gone the way of the home side. Waiting for somebody to come across and take it. Well, it's actually going to be Zach Brown, is it, or Richards coming across, so he'll take it with the left foot. I have to say the keeper, I've not seen him called into action yet. Doesn't look as though he might be the most mobile. That corner's taken short. Kuyar on the byline, crosses, up go the heads, but just over the head of McNally. Shot comes in off the line, and Reynolds now. Harry's just building up a bit of momentum now. Cross comes in, but that's overhits, and goalkeeper takes it comfortably unchallenged. Not sure who the second shot came in from there.
I think it might have been Candola, and I'm not 100% convinced some of the ball didn't cross the line there, but there were no appeals from the pitch, were there? It was a good driven effort, some real power behind it.
I thought the same as you. I thought certainly the defender was behind the line, whether he cleared it off the line, but the assistant would have been down there in a decent position to have seen it. Meanwhile, it's the visitors who have a throw in midway inside the Harriers half. Still goalless, so decent chance for both sides in the opening 15 minutes. Harriers though having to defend at the moment. Cross comes in from deep, headed away to the edge of the area. Hemmings is back there, and closed down right on the byline. Another opportunity for the cross to come in now, and well, McNally did well there because there was a man coming in behind him. He had to make the header, which he did. Morgan Smith tangling for the ball. It breaks the halfway line where Morphew, the captain, plays it forward. Intercepted by Devine. Just scrappy play though, both sides guilty of giving it away, and in the end it's out over on the far side for a Harriers throw in.
Good to see Ben Beresford back in the 16 for Harriers. That's a huge bit of good news at a time when Harriers will be looking to have every available body possible. I don't think Joe Folks is too far away either in the next week or so, so could go into that final half a dozen games in a really good position personnel-wise.
Yeah, first time since 12th of November that Beresford's been in the squad, and I would have thought Phil Brown will want to be in a position where they can get this game more or less wrapped up with, what, 20 minutes to go, and then give Beresford a bit of a run out. But that looks quite a long way off at the moment.
Yeah, I'm not sure of the numbers without looking, but I imagine he's probably missed more football this season than Luke Summerfield has. As Harriers surely going to win themselves a free kick here, but they don't. The referee allows the play to go on.
Yeah, Beresford 7 appearances in total, 3 starts and 4 substitute appearances, but in those 7 appearances, 3 goals.
And that's the big miss, obviously. Summerfield was completely instrumental in the opening part of the season for Harriers in midfield, but I'm pretty sure he packed in more than 10 games before his serious injury, so Ben Beresford's arguably in some respects had to be even more patient, as there's some patient defending going on here as the ball gets cleared over the top of the east stand. Obviously the Summerfield injury, the more yeah, you can use the word serious, I suppose. And Ben Beresford has 2 very, very frustrating injuries, especially for a young player. But yeah, those 2 players have been through the mill this season.
Yeah, Luke Summerfield 11 starts and 1 substitute appearance, so Beresford's fewer games than that. Did see Luke Summerfield going through his work before the game, was doing some sprints over on the far side of the ground, and those sprints were 50-yard ones, so he looks as though he's on the way back. Of course, he needs some games as well before he can be thrown into this tough league that is the National League North. And you want to be 100% sure that he can go into the tackles, and there are some crunching tackles in this league. Again, scrappy passage of play in the midfield. Yeah,
I mean, I've never played at any level at all, so I can't possibly imagine what a player must have going through their mind when they come back from an injury like that, especially at a senior player's age. When you go in and you face that first tackle, it must be really daunting.
Well, I think Phil Brown was alluding to that's the case with Joe Folks at the moment, that he's nearly there but just doesn't feel confident enough to say he can go into maybe a 50-50 tackle and come out of it unscathed. And that is the difficulty when you've had a serious injury. It's as much mental as it is physical coming back. Harriers throw in over on the far side, deep inside the Needham Market's half. It's Reece Devine trying to create an opening, but it's intercepted just inside the box by Kieran Morphew, who gets in a long clearance, which forces Morrison back to his keeper, Dibble. As I say, he's in all pink. And now Rhys McNally can start from deep and beat 3 players there and plays it forward for Hemmings, right hand side of the area. Hemmings' shot is beaten behind for a corner, but good work by McNally there. Hemmings might be a little bit disappointed, but the goalkeeper narrowed the angle and just got a good hand to the ball and palmed it behind for a Harriers corner. That came on 20 minutes, so Harriers just starting to create 1 or 2 openings. But good work by Rhys McNally there. So Richards across to this near side again to take the corner. Last one caused 1 or 2 problems for the visitors' defence. In it comes now into the 6-yard box, and Kuya was up there but couldn't keep the header down. It's taken a deflection on its way through.
Didn't seem to from where we were sitting. There aren't too many complaints from a Needham perspective, but yeah, just looked to be. I wasn't sure if it was because you said Kuyar or Morrison, but one of them looked to got a pretty clear contact on that. But
yeah, I have to say I didn't see any deflection, but Harriers will take it. Richards again on the near side. In it goes, same position, just at the edge of the box. Zach Brown thinking of coming in for the volley, but it was just nipped off his toes by Jacob Lay, who concedes the throw over on the far side, which Brown retrieves the ball and waits for Richards to make that long trek from the right hand side to the left. Takes it quickly, Brown back to Morrison, to McNally. Have to get your comment on that, because it's a lovely bit of skill that created the opening for Hemmings. Richards almost dwelt too long on the ball there. Jacob Lay was closing him down. Morrison drilling it forward. That's another loose pass from Carl Morrison. 2 in the game so far, and I picked those up because so rarely does he give the ball away. But he's there with a thumping header forward from the clearance by the goalkeeper, and Brown is adjudged to have handled the ball inside the centre circle. So it's a free kick the way of Needham Market. It's just starting to open up a little bit with a couple of through balls for Harriers. You feel if they could just make that breakthrough, then they'll settle down and put more onus on Needham Market to maybe just open up a little bit. But they do have an opportunity, the visitors, now to get the ball forward. It's headed on by Smith. Reynolds heads it infield, but again, Harriers players just on the back foot a little bit and allowed Needham Market to pick up possession. Kuyos deep inside his own half and clears towards the halfway line, but it'll be a Needham Market throw.
It was slightly threatening from Riley Reynolds to nod that back into his own area, I thought, and the call came in quickly for Candola to hook it back over his shoulder. He didn't, and again, Harry's living it perhaps a little bit more dangerously than they need to in this in the early part of this one.
Not his natural position, is it, Riley Reynolds playing at wing back? And I think we've just seen on the odd occasion in this opening 24 minutes that probably just loses his position a little bit, and that was a case there where he's in that wing back position and tried to play it when what was needed was just to clear it. So throw in to the visitors over on the far side, midway inside the Harriers half, and it's cleared back to the halfway line. Dye, long ball forward, dibbles off his line now and gathers and bowls out quickly to Reynolds on the right hand side. Bit of space, but then he's closed down. They are closing down really well, Needham Market. There it's Kyle Hammond, and all the time they're forcing Harriers backwards. And again, they've gone to that 5 in the middle now as soon as Harriers picked the ball up. So they've been well organised by Tom Rothery, the manager, who took over from Kevin Horlock in February. Horlock had been there for a few years, got them to promotion, But they look well organised in their formation. Now McNally on the halfway line, inside to Candela. Now Richards. But again, Harry's been forced backwards and building slowly from the back. They're going side to side, but not really making any ground. But they might do here as McNally looking for Hemmings down the right-hand side, but just overclubbed that one. And the Harriers' leading scorer couldn't keep that in. And it's going to be a goal kick to Needham Market. This Hemmings looking a little bit frustrated. It has had one opportunity that the goalkeeper turned behind for a corner. The noise levels just starting to get up again. Certainly the crowd are doing their bit for the Harriers this afternoon. Now Kuya on the halfway line. It loses out again, and Teddy Collis couldn't keep it in play over on that far side. Back in the side today, Teddy Collis. He's a striker, but doing a lot of his work in the midfield. It's Candela, but closed down quickly by Jamie McGrath. And again, Harriers have been forced back. And I think the visitors will be happier, the two sides, in this opening 26 minutes. They've had one good opportunity. I'll tell you that Darlington 1, Rushaw 1 in the National League North. Chorley 2, Alfreton 0. Leamington 1, South Shields 0. Of course, South Shields were hammered by Harriers last week. And Marine 1, Peterborough Sports 1. The other games, as far as we know, are goalless, as is the case here at Agborough. Harriers 0, Needham Market 0 here on BBC Hereford. Worcester 104, 104.6 and online. McNally striding forward with the ball, looks to the right hand side to send Reynolds away, but Smith is across well there and ushers the ball behind for another goal kick.
If you didn't know Harriers better, you'd say they're struggling for ideas at the moment, or struggling for a bit of invention. I think struggling for ideas is probably a bit harsh, but they seem to be kind of, you can't say not expecting this from Needham Market, but they seem a little bit perplexed as to how to go about the task in hand here.
Yeah, not much being created in the middle. They're being closed down there, which is forcing Harriers to actually try and get Reynolds away down the right hand side, and they've overhit the pass. And after seeing Rhys Devine in the opening couple of minutes, seen very little of him probably in the last 20 minutes or so on the left hand side. Got in that early cross that caused problems, but since then the pressing is forcing Harriers to start from deep, and they just haven't been managed in the midfield. Oh, there's a high foot there from Tevin Allen. Referee though said play on, and the ball is out over on the far side. Yeah, just looking for perhaps a little bit more creativity from Zach Brown and Candela in that middle with some through balls. But early on saw some flick-ons from Morgan Smith, but he's had nothing to get to jump for in the last few minutes either. So it's a scrappy affair, and that remains to be the case there, as Brown was hooking the ball forward looking for Kuya, but didn't give him a chance then. It's out for a throw in. So when it gets scrappy, as is the case now, then the decibel levels from the crowd drop. Throw in to the visitors over on the far side. Richards heading it forward. Morgan Smith challenges, but he's beaten by Morphew, and the same player heads it forward again, and he goes for a third one here, but Morgan Smith did get a head onto that one, but easily tied it up at the back, but then given away, and Devine will chase after this. Can he keep it in play? No, he can't. Oh, in fact he did, but then the second attempt put it out for a throw in.
Just needs a bit of something, doesn't it? A bit of magic from someone, but in fairness, Zach Brown, Ashley Hemmings, trying to think of the players who might step on and create a bit of magic, aren't being given the room to do that at present.
It's got to hold up in play because Christian Dibble has gone down. I can't remember the last time he touched it, but whether it's that hip that he had, he's looking at his thigh, his right thigh. They have got Tom Palmer on the bench.
Hopefully that isn't serious. One thing I will say is it has been used as a tool at times over the season for a quick catch-up, and the fact that all Harriers players are already over with Phil Brown having a quick conflab would, with my optimistic head on, lead me to suggest this is it might not be a serious one, shall we say, but I don't want to tempt fate, because if Christian Dibble leaves the field now, that will be a huge blow to Harriers.
I also wonder if it might, well, we'll see if he continues or not, because it might be just a signal to actually get the Harriers players over to this near side to get some instruction, because they've...
Yeah, that's what I mean in terms of it's been used as that tool over the season we have seen, and I'm hoping that is the case here, because it'll be a blow to lose him if it isn't. Well, he's back on his feet now, so I would suggest possibly the technical area having the same conversation we're having, chance creation, invention, all those other things, drying up a touch, so maybe a quick regroup was in order. Dibble is back up, obviously doesn't have to leave the field because he's had treatment, which would be hilarious, and the game will restart with I wouldn't say a flea in the ear of one or two Harriers players, but certainly some encouragement, you would think.
Yeah, Riley Reynolds has been energetic on the right hand side, but he's not a Dave Worrell, is he, who can work both ends of the pitch, but when he gets the ball he's keen to get the ball into the area early, whereas they've been trying to put the ball in front of, instead of playing it to Reynolds, they're actually putting it in front of him, and on too many occasions the ball's ran behind for a goal kick. So just playing a different game, whereas perhaps they need to trust Reynolds a little bit more and play it to his feet. So we're going to get going again with a throw in that Jake Dye will take over on the far side. Kuya's underneath it, but Devine gets the head onto the ball. Kuya can't do anything with it though, it's cleared to the halfway line. Morrison's underneath it. Hemmings, the ball went over his head, and now's an opportunity for Kuya on the left to perhaps take on the defender, taking on Allen, who's onto his right foot, slides it for Hemmings, scuffs his shot though, and they don't get it entirely clear there, and the second attempt, Needham Market get it to the halfway line. Now McNally back though to Morrison, just to the right of centre on the halfway line. Now Reynolds, early cross from him, but he hasn't really connected well with it. Does fall though, and Hemmings shoots and scores. The flag stays down. It was heeled to him. It was a quick ball from Riley Reynolds inside, Brown to Hemmings, and Hemmings just curled it around the keeper to the left hand side of the goal. The flag stayed down, and that's goal number 26 for Ashley Hemmings, and the deadlock has finally been broken. It's Kidderminster Harriers 1, Needham Market 0.
Number 10, Ashley Hemmings.
Come on, 33 minutes. And that was the difference. It was played quickly to Reynolds, inside to Brown. Brown heeled it perfectly into the path of Hemmings, and he curled it around the keeper into the left-hand side of the goal. Good play though by first of all Reynolds and then Brown, and that's what I was saying literally 2 minutes ago. Instead of putting it in front of Reynolds, play it to his feet, and he got it in early. So that should settle a few nerves both on the pitch and on the terraces. But Harry's defending at the moment. McNally's across there heading it forward, and well, dare I say, that little break in play might have just done the trick for Harriers. Be interested to know what the words were from Phil Brown. Now, the referee's attention has been called by Christian Dibble. Whether something happened in the crowd, so there's going to be a hold-up in play. Something might have happened on the terracing there, whether someone's been taken unwell, I don't know, but the both physios have gone out there and are going into the crowd, so we'll keep an eye on that. Certainly Christian Dibble was aware of it. So we've got another hold-up in play, and there's I think 4 members of medical people have gone across there. But just go back to the goal, Matty, and it was suddenly a bit of an injection in pace and first time passing.
Yep. Lovely worked routine, as you say. The early cross was pivotal, but so too, we talked about Zach Brown having the room to find something inventive. He didn't need a lot of room there. It was a beautiful flick, wasn't it, just to free Hemmings, and that was the finish of a player in form, wasn't it? Just curled it beautifully around the goalkeeper.
Yep, and I don't know if you did the same thing. I looked to the assistant on this near side to see if the flag was going up. So it looked as though it might be touch and go, but it stayed down, and Hemmings finished with aplomb. Still we wait for things to settle down behind the goal away to our left, and Zach Brown's come across and having a word with his namesake, manager Phil. He's probably saying that's what we want, just that little bit of invention and playing instinctively. I think Brown is an instinctive player. He looks better when he's not having to think too much about it, and that was the case there. So it started with Reynolds getting that ball in early. So I think everything has sorted itself out. All the medical crew are coming over to this near side, so I think it's all been dealt with. And round of applause, as you can probably hear, goes around the ground. Relief for everybody that it seems to be okay. So Dibble will start things off with a goal kick. So there's going to be a bit of stoppage time to be added on at the end of this first half. Had 36.5 minutes, but I would have thought probably looking around about 5 minutes to be added on with the various stoppages we've had. Harriers leading by a goal to nil. Listening to BBC Hereford from Worcester Sport on Saturday on 104.6 as Brown picks up the loose ball, goes down under a challenge. Harriers will have a free kick at 15 yards inside the opposition half. Harriers kicking from left to right in this first half. But the free kick is centre field, so there's no angle to work with. Devine has got a little bit of space, but he's now just trotting forward out over on the left hand side. Hemmings will take the free kick, even with 26 goals behind him this season. I think he didn't think of shooting there from fully 40 yards. It's cleared though into the Harriers half, and Morrison going back finds his keeper. Let's just see if there's any ill effects after that treatment he got to his thigh. Christian Dibble, he looks comfortable enough, and the visitors having some defending to do inside their own half. They've won a throw in, much to the annoyance of Amari Morgan-Smith, and the throw in is taken by Tommy Smith inside to Ben Hunter. In turn finds his captain Morphew. His clearance isn't great now, and Harry is back in possession and almost falling for Hemmings on the right hand side of the area. Not a good clearance from the keeper. Now they're starting to look a little bit untidy and rattled on Needham Market. Now they're a goal down. McNally back on the halfway line to Morrison. Always looks comfortable on the ball, Kyle Morrison. It seems to find himself in the right place at the right time. You don't see him sprinting too much. Just he reads the game well at the heart of that Harriers defence.
Just for those listening, I think I'm trying to surmise here from a distance. We've seen a supporter wheeled away by medical staff in what looks to be a chair in an upright position. So hopefully someone who had been taken ill is now at least feeling okay enough to be up and sitting, which is encouraging news. At least the game is back underway, which usually, if nothing else, means that the situation isn't too serious, which is the most important thing.
6 minutes of the 45 to go in this opening period. Harriers leading by a goal to nil. I can tell you it's Alvechurch 0, Leiston 1, and Bromsgrove 1, Banbury 1. Malvern Town 2, Bashley 0. Bashley 1, sorry. So Harriers on the attack here through Kuya, 20 yards out, shoots just over the bar, connected well with that. Goalkeeper was stretching, but in the end probably cleared the bar by a couple of feet. But sign that Kuyar is confident there to take that shot on from 20 yards. As far as the National League North is concerned, not aware of any changes to the scores there from last time we gave you. We'll try and give you a couple of updates as and when they come through. Ball is on the halfway line though. Morgan Smith with the ball at his feet. Just his first touch though was a little bit heavy there. Allows Morphew to clear. Richards picks up the loose ball inside his own half. Long ball forward looking for Kuyar. Keeper's off his line though, does well. On the left-hand side of his on the right-hand side of his area, I should say, the Harriers left. And Morphew got through a couple of Harriers players there as he went charging towards the halfway line. But now Hemmings almost getting away. But ball pass to him was just a little bit under hit and allowed Needham to pick up the loose ball.
Both teams become wildly loose in the last couple of minutes.
I was just looking at Morphew there, got through a couple of Harriers players who went lunging in, and when he got to the halfway line his pass was loose, which created a hole behind him, but Harriers couldn't make the most of it. So they have a throw in, the home side, on the halfway line. McNally down the right hand side looking for Morgan Smith, heads it on for Hemmings, and it's cleared. A little push in the back by Candler there. Referee said play on though, and the visitors breaking forward through Ingram, and then ahead of him was Lay, but won back by Harriers. Now has Candler gone down there, sitting up, and just looking a little bit uncomfortable. He's going to get some treatment. Whether he was stretching there or not, I don't know if you saw what happened, Matty.
It appeared innocuous. Looks to be unhappy about something, doesn't he? And
yeah, the physio's looking to this near side, which looks as though they're going to have to make a change, which is a real blow. David Davis is peeling his kit off, because he's been a revelation since he's gone into midfield, Cam Candler.
Especially when you're this late in a half as well, when you know a player's bad enough that they can't soldier on for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, it was the same as with Dave Worrell on Tuesday, in that the physio came on but didn't attempt to give any treatment. I think the player knew he was done. But as I was saying, what a revelation he's been since moving into that midfield, sitting in front of the back three. Scored a goal against Farsley Celtic, but he's looking pretty despondent down there. So that's the first change of the game, coming on 43 minutes. And it's Davis for Candler. So experience coming on. I can tell you that Brackley, who Harriers go to on Tuesday, are leading Ratcliffe by 1-0. And Scunthorpe won Chester 0 in the big game at the top of the table. It'll be best part of 9,000 in there today, I would have thought, as Candler comes off. Just indicating that it's a pull of some kind. I'm just looking at him here, and he's limping quite badly, so he has to be seen as a doubt for Tuesday. So you get Beresford back on the bench, and Candler dropping out. So, as I say, that huge game to come against Brackley on Tuesday. Brackley now leading today. Long shot coming from distance there that was charged down. Hammond it was that was shooting from 25 yards out. It's Harriers on the attack at the other end, but losing out. Jake Dye was just taking the ball off Kuyar there. And Needham Market through Tevin Allen. Will start to build from the halfway line. Finds Carl Hammond back with Allen, but Harriers now starting to do the pressing and forcing Needham Market back to their keeper, Marcus Garner. He's played over 200 times for Needham Market. Harry's just starting to press a little bit more, as I say. Riley Reynolds doing that work, and Hemmings doing likewise. Now Brown, and Harriers win it back. Hemmings to Reynolds, 25 yards out to the right of centre. His shot is charged down, and it should get it clear here through Lay. Beats Reynolds, but doesn't beat Brown, but won back by the visitors, and it's cleared by Tommy Smith. 7 minutes to be added on at the end of this first half. We've just moved into stoppage time.
7 minutes added time.
So
That's a minimum of 7 minutes.
lengthy hold-ups, but Harriers breaking forward through Devine here, but couldn't get past Kieran Morphew, and again he tidies up at the back, finds his keeper Garnham, who clears the halfway line. Zach Brown tangling for the ball with Jacob Lay, but it's Lay that gets it back, and then it's cleared into the Harriers half. Lay, who's given a good account of himself in that midfield. He's appeared on both sides of the pitch, and one of these scurrying little midfield players that always seems to be in and around the action. But there he's conceded a free kick. That's the signal for him to come from right to left and pick up his orthodox position. Christian Dibble will come out of his area to take this free kick. So two men that have been influential for Harriers in this run they're on at the moment, Dave Worrell and Cam Candler, now end up on the injured list. So you'd feel this is, he's got a good run at this one. He's got half a game, David Davis, to get into it, and you'd feel it would be a straight swap for Tuesday if Candler can't play. The free kick has come to nothing, and Lay plays it forward. Morrison's across there ahead of Ingram to concede the throw in, which is taken quickly. Harriers back in numbers though. McNally wins himself a throw in. His clearance came back off McGrath there.
Midfield area is at least one on which Harriers have options. I mean, if Dave Worrell is well enough to be back in the side on Tuesday, you could easily have Riley Reynolds or David Davis fit in there, and that's obviously with Jim Kellerman already being out for the remainder of this season. So Harriers will see that as a positive, I'm sure, but no doubt the loss of Candola is a big one.
Yeah, he looked very uncomfortable, didn't he, when he went off, whereas with Worrell walked off just knowing that he'd got some kind of little pull. But Candela, as soon as he went down, he looked pretty despondent and then limped off badly. So he has to be a huge doubt for Tuesday. But we'll find out a little bit more at the end of the game. There's still a game to be won here. Harriers leading by a goal to nil. That goal coming on 33 minutes from Ashley Hemmings, his 26th of the season. And his side have a throw in on this near side. Harriers right, in line with the edge of the Needham Market area. McNally winding himself up to get the ball into the box. She does. Morrison's underneath it, can't win it though. It'll fall for McNally again. It's being forced wide. It can't get away from Jacob Lay. It's cleared, and Reynolds pumps it into the area. Morgan Smith's underneath it. Hemmings misses with the volley, and the ball back into Hemmings from Kuyo was under hit there.
Well, Kuyo, I think Kuyo was very gracefully trying to put it back on a plate for Hemmings, but he's got half the dinner's off the plate, isn't it there, I'm afraid?
Yeah. So both of them, Hemmings didn't get any kind of connection with the first effort, and then Kuyo trying to tee him up, but it was never going to be one that Hemmings would get on the end of anyway, because it was just too tight to him. So they have to start again from the back. 4 minutes of stoppage time played, 3 to go. Morgan Smith goes down. Kuyo, bit of space on the left-hand side, crosses. Doesn't reach Hemmings though, headed away by Dye for a throw-in over on that far side. Just looking at Hemmings and Morgan Smith, I don't know if off the pitch they're very close. They always seem to be on the pitch, seem to get on well, and forming that pretty lethal partnership. Hemmings 26 goals, Morgan Smith 16 this season, but they do encourage each other and high-fiving and punching fists. But at the moment, just waiting for the ball to come their way, as Harriers are starting from deep again with their keeper Dibble. Drills the ball left-footed along the ground, which Hemmings lays off to McNally. Down the right-hand side, looking for Davis, but Guy was across there to concede the throw-in. So another opportunity for McNally to get the long one into the box. 2 minutes left of stoppage time. So he'll take his time here and maybe just be happy with one last opportunity in this first half. Hemmings comes short. McNally not having it though. So will he go long? No, he's gone short to Davis. Back to McNally. Forced back to Morrison, who didn't get forward into the box there. It's cleared only though as far as Devine, centre field, midway inside the Needham Market half. Back to Devine, comes inside. Outside him is McNally. Just had to wait for the ball there. Crosses early though. Up goes Morgan Smith, doesn't reach him. Now Brown, left-hand side of the area. Not a great ball forward for Kuya though, and it's out for a throw-in over on that far side. I think those are the areas, Matty, we just wish that Brown would get onto it and drive in with the ball or have a shot instead of playing the safe ball to Kuya.
I mean, he has, as we've talked about, that invention. It's the assist that's got Harriers the only goal so far, so very much capable of it, but perhaps just also a confidence thing.
Well, here he is in possession now at the edge of the area, laying it off for Davis, who waited, thought of the shot, but just waited for the ball to come onto it, and the momentum's gone from the move because Hemmings, annoyed with himself in the ball back to McNally there, just forced him back, and now Davis has given it away. I think Phil Brown be happy with his side leading at half-time, but just a little bit frustrated that Harriers have been sloppy at times, and the passing hasn't been as slick and sharp as he would like it to be. So final thoughts for the half, Matty? We've got a couple of seconds left.
Yeah, well, leading is the most important thing, of course. That'll be what Harriers are most delighted with. They've got themselves ahead, they've got a goal. Just think a lot to tidy up on, I would imagine, if you're Phil Brown. I mean, Needham Market saying that haven't even gone close really to troubling Christian Dibble, except from that effort with about 3 minutes gone, where really England should have worked the target from about 3 yards out. It was a great header, but Christian Dibble's really been a bystander. Harriers have managed to pick the lock once as that half-time whistle goes, but yeah, need more before this one is done, certainly. Yeah,
the story of the half, an early chance for the visitors, Luke Ingram heading wide, then Harriers came into it, a divine cross that Reynolds couldn't get on the end of it, then Candler had an effort cleared off the line, Hemmings' shot saved on 20 minutes, and then Kuya with a shot over the bar on 40, but the only goal came on 33 minutes, nicely worked with Reynolds and Brown feeding in Hemmings, and he curled it around the keeper for his 26th goal of the season. But disappointing news that Candler has gone off with an injury to be replaced by Davis. So still work to do in this second half, but at the interval it's Kidderminster Harriers 1, Needham Market 0.
There you go then, Kidderminster Harriers leading, but only just 1-0. Ashley Hemmings is 26th of the season on 33 minutes. Harriers 1, Needham Market 0. It's half-time at Edgar Street. Hereford, Curzon, Ashton. Here's Carson Wishart.
Half-time, yes, as you say, it is Hereford 0, Curzon, Ashton 0, but how the Bulls haven't scored, I do not know. 3 brilliant chances in the last 2 minutes of the half. The first came from Remay Campbell, a header that just brushed off the far post of Bobby Jones, his goal, and then his namesake Tate Campbell strode from 35 yards in the box, and then a lovely little lob really over everybody, over the Curzon Ashton defence, and it bounced off the middle of the bar, so close, so unlucky. And then literally 30 seconds later, Sterling James, who's been absolutely magnificent for Hereford this afternoon so far, got the ball halfway down the penalty area, whipped in a cross, and there was Remay Campbell. He could have done better, edge of the 6-yard box, headed it down, and it was just a brilliant save by Bobby Jones to pour it away. Hereford having a succession of corners, but it's an open game, 50-50 in terms of possession. Curzon Ashton having 1 or 2 chances of their own. Alex Curran most notably one-on-one with Theo Richardson in the Hereford goal, but couldn't get any really power on his shot. And also Brackley Ricketts, who's a thorn in Hereford's side, playing on the left-hand wing, also had a shot that just went a couple of yards over the bar. It's a really good game of football, Malcolm, and also Hereford here looks like they've got their confidence back finally. It's half-time, Hereford 0, Curzon Ashton 0.
Great stuff, Carson, thank you. All we are saying is give us a goal. You get the feeling, don't you? They get one, the floodgates will open, but they haven't got one yet. It's Hereford 0, Curzon Ashton 0 in the National League North. It's Kidderminster Harriers 1, Needham Market 0. Ashley Hemmings with his 26th of the season on 33 minutes, giving Phil Brown's side the lead at the break. Let's dip into the Southern League Division 1 South now. We're watching Evesham United versus Cribbs with Steve Carley.
Half-time, Evesham United 0, Cribbs 0. It's a free-flowing, relatively open game, but clear-cut chances few and far between. The best have certainly come in the latter stages of the first half. 6 minutes before the break, a ball came down the centre, which Charlie White got on the end of, but a wonderful tackle, last-ditch tackle from Will Owens, cleared that at one end. His clearance went straight down the opposite end for Levi Steele to chase, and he steered his effort agonising wide of the post. 6 minutes later, free kick from Owens from the Evesham right was headed inches wide also by Regan Messenger. We've had a yellow card for Aaron Heap for a challenge on Charlie White, caused really by the conditions. The last 15 minutes, the heavens opened and it's saturated here at the Jubilee Stadium. Players losing their footing in quite a few occasions. It's actually stopped at the moment, but that will make the pitch interesting for the second half. So as we stand, decent game, but still looking for really that quality in front of goal. Evesham United 0, Cribbs 0.
Steve, thank you. We'll be back with Steve for a roundup of the rest of the local results in a few seconds, but let's change to Rugby Union now. National 2 West, Bourneville versus Luctonians. Half-time. Here's Dave Thomas.
No, we've gone behalf half-time, Markham. We're 20 minutes into the second half. 2:30 kick-off here. The current score is Bourneville 20, Luctonians 26. First half, Bourneville went out to an early 3-0 lead. Luctonians got a try on 21 minutes. Young Owen Randall went down the blind side. Jack Goodwin cantered over, converted. 28 minutes in, second try for Luctonians. Line out, catch and try, catch, try, drive. Seb Robinson Hall got that one. 3-12, and then 33 minutes in, Luctonians' big Owen Harriet Davis stripped the ball, kicked it downfield, big chase. Someone went over, I couldn't see it, melee. 3-13, all looking good for Luctonians. Then on 40 minutes, gave away a penalty, 6-19. And then right on half-time, Bourneville got a try from a line-out catch and drive, and they nearly just scored there. That's what the cheering's all about. 13-19, and then in the early part of the second half, some Luctonians mistakes. Bourneville went over in the left-hand side, 20 points to 19. 10 minutes later, Luctonians got back into the game. Penalty, line-out catch and drive. A superb catch by Caleb Montgomery, a drive over. So current score, Bourneville 20, Luctonians 26. But this game could go either way.
Great stuff, Dave. Thank you very much indeed. So I work it out that 2:30 kick-off, we've got about 20 minutes there, and Luctonians win in 2026. Back to Steve Carley then at the Spires and Hartwell Stadium, home of Evesham United, for a roundup of the rest of our half-time. Steve.
Thanks, Mark. Okay, well, let's stay in Division 1 South for the Southern League at the moment, because while Evesham obviously pressing for promotion, Malvern Town hot on their heels for a place in the playoffs. They lead Bashley by 3-1 at the HC Anywhere Community Stadium. Goals for Joe Bullock, a penalty from Jack Watts, and Lewis Spurrier 4 minutes before the break have put Malvern firmly in control in that one. Into the Southern League Premier Division Central, Alvechurch trail at home to Leiston by 1-0. Bromsgrove Sporting level 1-1 with Banbury. Theo Robinson has scored for the Rouslers. And in the relegation battle at the bottom, it's AFC Sudbury 0, Redditch United 0. Worcester City lead Boldmere St Michael's by 1-0 in the Northern Premier Midlands Division. Liam Lockett scored in the final minute of the first half. Pershore Town lead Corsham by 1-0 in the Hellenic League Premier Division, and it's also Westfields 0, Roman Glasgow. And Perry Moss has scored a first half hat-trick for Droitwich Spa. They lead at Kidlington by 3-0. Droitwich, of course, they're top of the Hellenic League Division 1, which is step 6, but they're on track for the title, and that would bring them up to step 5 and with Westfields and with Worcester Raiders and all those sort of teams. So Droitwich Spa really on a roll.
Good stuff. Thank you, Steve. I think the one you missed there because Steve cut out just for a few moments at the vital time. Westfield's 0, Roman Glass St George 1. And yeah, well done to Perry Moss, the first half hat-trick for Droitwich Spa. The Saltmen beating the Greens of Kidlington, Hellenic League Premier 1. They're on course for automatic promotion. Right, let's have a look elsewhere then, shall we? We know in the National League North it's Hereford 0, Curzon Ashton 0. We also know that it's Kidderminster 1, Needham Market 0. Buxton 0, Kings Lynn 0. It is at half-time. Buxton 6th going into this game. Kings Lynn Town 9th. Nothing to separate them at the break. It's goalless. Chorley march on, however. Chorley 2, Alfreton 0. Chorley started the day in 7th. They're 2 up against Alfreton. It's Darlington 1, Rushall Olympic 1. It's Leamington 2, South Shields 0. Marine 1 apiece with Peterborough Sports at half-time. Oxford are 2 up against Warrington. Now, Radcliffe 0, Brackley Town 2. Brackley 3rd going into this game. They're 2 up at half-time against Radcliffe, and you'd think that'd be enough's enough, but we'll see. This is the big one. Scunthorpe in first versus Chester in second. Half-time, Scunthorpe 1, Chester 0. So Scunthorpe increasing their lead at the top. As the way things are, it's looking not too badly for Kidderminster Harriers. It's Southport 0, Scarborough 1, and finally Spennymoor Town 3, Farsley Celtic 0. Farsley Celtic, sadly, the whipping boys of the division, hanging on with kids, really, and doing their very best. Half-time in League 1. Well, there's a shocker. Barnsley 0, Cambridge United 1. Cambridge United can't buy a win of late, but they're 1 to the good at half-time against Barnsley. Cambridge second bottom. Crawley 1, Bristol Rovers 0. It's Lincoln 0, Exeter 0, Northampton 0, Blackpool 1. Peterborough United 2, Charlton 0, and Wrexham 1, Stockport County 0. Wrexham, if that continues, will go second above Wickham, but they'll still be a country mile behind Birmingham City, who are at the top. Earlier on today, Notts County missed the chance to go second in League 2. They finished their game against Crewe Alexandra 0 apiece, goalless there. It's AFC Wimbledon 0, Barrow 0, Wimbledon amongst the top 3 of League 2, so it's chop and changey there. Bradford City are second behind Walsall, and as it stands, they're closing the gap on Walsall to 1 point because Bradford are leading 2-1 at half-time against Colchester. Walsall are drawing 0-0 at Gillingham. It's Carlisle 1, Bromley 1, Cheltenham 0, Milton Keynes Dons 1. Chesterfield 0-0 against Harrogate. Fleetwood 0-0 against Tranmere. Grimsby 0-0 against Newport County. Port Vale 0-0 against Morecambe. Swindon Town 0-0 against Accrington. And guess what? As I've said, Gillingham, 0-0 against Walsall. The National League, it's finished at Sutton. Sutton 1, Dagenham and Redbridge 1. Aldershot 2, Ebbsfleet 3. Ebbsfleet, goodness gracious me. Before a ball had been kicked this afternoon, Ebbsfleet were looking, well, dead and buried. I mean, they still are, really. 22 points from safety, only got 17. If you were looking for a banker for your accumulator, you'd have looked for Ebbsfleet all day long. They're currently leading at half-time at Aldershot by 3-2, and that's why football is so difficult to predict, and that's why these bookies make a fortune. York City up there at the top, but they're being held by Braintree Town, 1-1 there. Eastleigh 0, Southend 2, Fylde 1. Forest Green also up amongst the leaders. They're trailing 1-0 against Fylde. It's Tamworth 0, Gateshead 0, and Barnet at the top play Altrincham tonight at 5:30. Right, you're up to date. They're back out at Edgar Street. Come on, you Bulls. All we are saying is give us a goal. Second half commentary then. Carson Wishart at Edgar Street. Still waiting for the players to re-emerge at Agborough. 7 minutes added on time. There was a little bit of a medical emergency in the crowd, and 1 or 2 players having lengthy spells on the ground through injury. One game I didn't tell you about in, where are we? The National League was Solihull Moors 0, Yeovil 1. Good stuff. You're up to date.
Sport on Saturday.
BBC Hereford and Worcester.
BBC Hereford and Worcester's Presenter Fact File. Name:
Tony McDonald.
Occupation:
Afternoon show presenter.
Favourite things in life:
Having a good gossip with the biggest celebrities around. Music legend Rick Wakeman.
Got 3 pianos. I play How Much Is That Doggy in the window for the dogs. They lie by the piano and out they go, and that's the start of my day.
Oh, that's great. Gary Lightbody as Snow Patrol. Please do more merchandise than mugs. I can fit no more mugs in my house.
I'll take that under advisement.
Being the age that I am now, a tea towel is fine.
Maybe a decorative plate.
Tony McDonald. Join me for another star-studded lineup back Monday afternoon, 2 till 6.
On BBC Hereford and Worcester.
Good, it is BBC Hereford and Worcester. This is your sport on Saturday. It's Malcolm Boyden and it's 4 minutes past 4. If you're clock watching the clock. In the Women's Super League, by the way, it finished Everton 3, Crystal Palace 0. That was an earlier kickoff. So let's have a look at how we stand across the region, the 2 counties at half-time. In the Hellenic League, Division 1, top of the table, Droitwich Spa march on a plenty. They're 3-0 to the good against Kidlington at half-time. The Greens of Kidlington 0, the Salt Men of Droitwich 3, Perry Moss with a first half hat-trick. It's Westfields 0, Roman Glass St George 1 in the Hellenic League Premier Division. The Plums, Harley Price, the goal scorer, are leading Corshall Town by 1-0 at half-time. Worcester City are doing pretty nicely, thank you very much indeed. In the Northern Premier League Midlands Division, Boldmere St Michael's 0, Worcester City 1. Liam Lockett on the score sheet once again. It's goalless in the Southern League Division 1 South. Evesham United versus Cribs. Malvern Town, though, looking for, well, an 11th game unbeaten, and you wouldn't bet against them at half-time. They're 3-1 to the good against Bashley. In the Southern League Premier Central, AFC Sudbury 0, Redditch United 0. That could go either way. That's a big basement battle. Redditch need to win it. It's level at the UK Electrical Stadium. Bromsgrove Sporting 1, Banbury United 1, Theo Robinson for Bromsgrove, and it's Old Church 0, Leiston 1. Right, let's go back then, shall we, to Agborough 0 on 104.6 FM and online. Full second half commentary, and a big second half it's going to be as well at Agborough. Here's Chris Williams.
Impeccable timing. You join us as the players are out. We're about to kick off for this second half with Harriers leading by 1-0. Can't see any changes made at half-time. So Harriers, who did have to make a change in the first half, will line up with Christian Dibble in goal. Back 3 of Caleb Richards, Carl Morrison and Rhys McNally. In midfield, Rhys Devine, Zach Brown, Riley Reynolds and now David Davis, who replaced the injured Cam Candela. And up front, 52 goals so far between Maz Kuya, Amari Morgan-Smith and Ashley Hemmings, who scored the all-important goal that separates the sides this afternoon. Just seeing if they are about to make a change. No, they're so the visitors will line up with Marcus Garnham in goal. The back 4, Carl Hammond, Kieran Moore, Morphew, Tommy Smith and Jason Dye. In midfield, Jacob Lay, Tevin Allen, Luke Ingham and Ben Hunter. Teddy Collins is up front and John McGrath is the 5th man in midfield that does push forward when they're in possession. But we're up and running in the second half. Harriers in red and white shirts, red shorts, red socks, kicking from right to left. The little sun we had has disappeared. It's quite grey overhead now. And at Needham Market are in navy blue, and the shirts have got yellow trim down the sleeve. The visitors keeper is in all orange. Christian Dibble, who got a bit of treatment in the first half, is in all pink, and our referee is Matthew Jackson, and his assistants are Jack Shepherd and Christopher Hudson. So from a Harriers point of view, you would feel that an early goal in the second half will just settle things down, and they're attacking down the left hand side, but Kuya won't reach this and keep it in play. It was shielded by Tevin Allen, and we'll restart with a goal kick to Needham Market. So they did have a decent opportunity, the visitors, the first opportunity of the game on 3 minutes, but after that Harriers coped pretty comfortably with them. But they do press well and kept Harriers at bay up until the 33rd minute, when Ashley Hemmings scored his 26th of the season. Davis is underneath a high ball here and helped on towards Morgan Smith, got a little nudge in the back. Referee said play on though, and Brown does well, just blocking the ball as it was played forward. And in fact it came, not sure what he's given, it came back off a Needham Market player, says the referee. I can tell you that Tevin Allen doesn't agree with him, and I don't agree with him either, but Harriers will take it. In fact, the referee wants a word with one of the Needham Market players that's having plenty to say about that. I have a degree of sympathy for him, because the man being spoken to was Carl Hammond, because it clearly came off a Harriers man, Brown. But we're up and running again with Devine approaching the left-hand side of the area. Can't get the cross in, just scuffed his cross. It didn't fall for Morgan Smith, but well, Harriers briefly had it back, but then Brown has this time been adjudged to have fouled, and the visitors can clear their lines from just outside their own penalty box. 2 minutes played in the second half. Harriers a goal to the good, but such a thing's at the top of the table that if you come out of a game with a draw, you feel that it's a bad result, and it will certainly be the case if they don't win this one here this afternoon, Harriers. And the long ball played forward, looking to get the captain away, but keeper Marcus Garnham is quickly off his line, clears out for a Harriers throw over on the far side, midway inside their own half. But as the game goes on, Matty, it's just going to become a little bit edgy if it stays at 1-0.
Well, it's certainly not become any less scrappy, is it? That is absolutely something you can say for sure. Harriers have still got a bit to do in this one, and they'll know that. Other results not going in their favour either, so they know they need to keep the screw turning here.
Yep, early part of the second half in all these games. It's Buxton 0, Kings Lynn 0. Chorley leading Alfreton by 2-0. Darlington and Rushall is 1 apiece, as Harriers just need to be careful here, defending deep inside their own half. The fact that they didn't clear, and now Ingram on the right hand side would look to create space for a cross, lays it back. Hammond into the box, just over the head though of the striker there, and Devine finds Kuya. Now they can start to build from deep. Brown creates half a yard and then finds Riley Reynolds. Ball out to the right hand side, looking for Hemmings, but he won't keep that one in, and it's out for a throw in. So just to go through the other scores: Darlington 1, Rushall 1, Hereford 0, Curzon Ashton 0, Leamington 2, South Shields 0, Marine 1, Peterborough Sports 1, Oxford City 2, Warrington 0, Brackley are leading 2-0 at Radcliffe, Scarborough lead at Southport by 1-0, Scunthorpe 1, Chester 0, and Spennymoor 3, Farsley Celtic 0. Here at Agborough, Harriers have a free kick inside the Needham Market half. Nobody's in any great hurry to take it, so much so that Luke Ingram has gone to retrieve the ball, and Caleb Richards has gone across to the right hand side to take this free kick. Rhys McNally has pushed forward, as has Carl Morrison. So in it comes now, at the angle to the edge of the area. Morgan Smith, can he keep it in? Yes, he can. Comes away from goal, just outside the area on the left hand side. Now McNally slides it for Brown, almost created an opening there. Appeal from behind the goal for a penalty, but he just lost his balance there, and Marcus Garnham can gather the ball and clear. In fact, he's dropped it and will clear from the ground. Gets good distance on it. Richards lets the ball go over his head though. Ball going harmlessly through to Christian Dibble. These are the games at this end of the season, just 7 to go after today, where you just got to grind out a result, take the 3 points and move on to the next one. And that next one is at Brackley on Tuesday. Peterborough Sports are the visitors here next Saturday. Difficult trip to Buxton after that. Looked a decent side when I saw Buxton earlier this season, and going there, of course Harriers were there a couple of weeks ago to play Farsley Celtic, and the ground sharing there. But that's going to be a difficult game at Buxton, but this one to be won first. Harriers in possession through Davis, centre field, just inside the Needham Market half, out to the right hand side. But not looking progressive at the moment, Harriers. Then a long ball forward for Brown, right hand side of the area, but couldn't control it, and the goalkeeper just about got it clear ahead of Morgan Smith. But well, Brown was there, just couldn't connect.
I'll say first of all, he's done 2 bits of that superbly, hasn't he, Zach Brown? Just lacked in that final finish, and what on earth the goalkeeper was doing.
Cross from Kuya, looking for Hemmings, can't keep it in though.
Yeah, but Zach Brown didn't quite get with his final shot, and then the goalkeeper's, I mean, he's allowed it to run across his body, hasn't he? And there looked to be no danger, and then all of a sudden there was. Just about managed to get it clear, but
Can't argue with how Zach Brown has taken that ball down and controlled it.
Yeah, just needed to get the shot away, created a bit of space for himself, and the goalkeeper was extremely brave to want to try and dribble that ball away from Morgan Smith, because, as I said in the first half, he doesn't look the most nimble, and but he got away with it. And McNally heading the ball forward to the halfway line. Brown heads it on again. Davis, well, just got his timing of his jump wrong there. He did get a little bit of a back to jump over, but a referee again says play on. So it's the throw in on the far side, taken quickly to Needham Market, and the ball in the Harriers half at the moment. Cleared though, and the goalkeeper again was closed down quickly by Morgan Smith, and it's a throw into Harriers over on the far side.
He's slightly unconventional, isn't he, the goalkeeper?
in more than one way.
Yeah.
He doesn't look conventional, but then he's got probably more confidence than he should do in trying to dribble the ball or use his feet when players are looking to close him down. Kuyar's gone a little bit quiet and then laid it back to Brown, who was a poor ball forward that gave Devine no chance to get on the end of it. Had a quiet game, Rhys Devine, after starting quite brightly. Not seen too much of the ball. Hasn't had the opportunity to get down that left-hand side. And Kuyar's gone a little bit quiet as well. We've had 9 minutes at the start of this second half. Harriers still leading by a goal to nil. On BBC Hereford and Worcester, 104, 104.6, and David Davis's touch let him down there. Hemmings is coming increasingly deeper to try and get hold of the ball. He lost out over on that far side, and it's the visitors who are on the attack, and Hemmings is way back in his own half trying to get hold of it. Now he's having to defend, as are most of the Harriers side, but then they've just won it back through Brown. But so the ball forward from Kuyar gave Reynolds too much to do, but although he's a youngster, Reynolds, he showed a bit of experience there in just waiting for the challenge to come, so he won the free kick.
Yeah, he braced himself for it as well, because it wasn't exactly a tap either, was it? It was a bit of a crunch.
He just stuck his backside out and waited for the challenge to come. So an opportunity for Harriers to get the ball into the visitors' half. Morrison will take the free kick. Right-footed on the angle, looking for Morgan Smith. Doesn't win it though. It's won by Morphew. But Harriers get it back. Brown, not for long though, and David Davis stretches and wins it there. Kuyar back to Devine. Shapes to go down the left-hand side. In fact, just lifts it for Kuyar. There's a hand there, surely. The referee said no. It's going to be a throw into Harriers. I can tell you that Jaden White has given Hereford the lead. I'm going to give you more in a minute because Brown's on with a shot which is saved comfortably by the goalkeeper. So first effort of the second half. But Hereford taking the lead against Curzon Ashton. So Curzon in 5th place, one behind Harriers. So Jaden White with a goal there that will lift Hereford. So they're leading by a goal to nil, as are Harriers here at Agborough. First shot of the second half coming from Brown. Harriers in possession again, but they're inside their own half. 56 minutes gone, 0-0. Brown just starting to come into the game a little bit more in this second half. But they've conceded a free kick, which is taken quickly, and Ben Hunter.
The noise has just lifted in the ground a touch, hasn't it, as well, which might be helping the atmosphere, the feel of the game.
Morrison does well at the back, finds Davis just inside the Harriers half. Now Riley, who's playing more centre field now in this second half, to Devine out on the left. Kuyar's ahead of him. Now's an opportunity to get the cross in. He's got half a yard of space. What's in a low cross, which doesn't get beyond the edge of the 6-yard box. and cleared to the halfway line. Davis finds Brown on the right-hand side. McNally is there for the pass. Now Davis ahead of him, inside to Hemmings, who's centre field, 25 yards out, shoots. It was dipping, but didn't cause a problem there as Needham Market make their first change. Seth Chambers, a striker, is coming on, and he will be replacing Teddy Collis when he sees the number. I'm just looking to see where he is. Is he on the just coming off now? So that's coming on 58 minutes. Collis off and Seth Chambers on. Well, they've got to find a goal from somewhere. Chambers was on the bench against Spennymoor on Tuesday, a game they lost 1-0. Morgan Smith went down there. Referee said play on though. Brown picking up the loose ball, finding Kuya on the left-hand side. Closed down again quickly, but ball on the right foot, crosses over the head though of Hemmings and behind for a goal kick. So then continues to be scrappy and lack of quality of balls into the box at the moment.
Yeah, we said about the lift in the atmosphere. I just wonder if that noise might help things a touch and put a spring in one or two players' steps, because, as you say, it's been scrappy really from minute one, other than the move that almost put Needham Market ahead as they play out very dangerously from the back and win a free kick. And a great move for the Harriers goal. There's not really been too much quality in the final third, and part of that, I'm sure, will be the absence of Dave Worrell, because his delivery and ammunition was very, very good. But obviously he was only 1 of 11, Dave Worrell, wasn't he? And Harriers have had danger and threats from other areas, just haven't seen too much of them this afternoon. Ashley Hemmings has tucked his goal away, but I don't think he's really had so much of a sight of goal other than that.
I think Neil MacDonald and Phil Brown are thinking of making a change here. I think they want to get a bit of width on that right-hand side. But to tell you a couple of goals in the Northern National League North in the second half. Rush will lead at Darlington by 2-1. Hereford, as I told you, lead Curzon Ashton. Marine 2-1 up on Peterborough Sports now. Oxford City lead Warrington 3-0. And Scunthorpe are 2 up against Chester. So Scunthorpe top, Chester second. And the way things stand, if that result stays the same, Harriers would move above Chester. If things stay the same here, they'll move above them on goal difference.
Yep, ahead of what is a game in hand over Chester, I think, in midweek. But probably, I wouldn't say give up hope, but you can probably cancel any expectation of Scunthorpe dropping points. You'd find that difficult to believe the league leaders at 2-0 up at home.
The goal difference is significant. Harriers on to plus 36 now, and Chester on to plus 22, so it's worth a point to Harriers at the moment. And that's the case with most of those in and around the playoff places. So it's important that Harriers not only get the win, but continue to just improve that goal difference. And on the well, they weren't on the attack. They played a long ball forward looking for Reynolds, but I think the time's come. Phil Brown probably just running out of a little bit of patience at the moment, knowing that a mistake can turn 3 points into 1, and things look very different. So I'm sure he will be making a change in the next 5 minutes or so. We've reached the hour mark, in fact 61 minutes now, and it's still Harriers leading by a 1-0. But Reynolds has definitely moved inside, and they've lost the width on the right-hand side, Matty.
Yep, they've almost had to sacrifice one thing to try and solve another problem, haven't they, really? It's had to be a little bit makeshift. It's a very shrill whistle coming from someone in the crowd there. And a booking, I think, for Caleb Richards, possibly, for time wasting, which is about as rare as hen's teeth.
Not sure, is it Devine, because he actually looked as though he was going to take it and then gave it to Richards?
Yeah, I think you're right, yeah.
So, Reece Devine, that's booking number 7 for the season for him. That coming on 62 minutes. But just clear-cut opportunities are few and far between. In fact, just the one shot on goal in this second half. The Needham Market, I think, are about to make another change as they go in search of this equaliser, but you just feel that there could be a mistake in this somewhere that lets them back into it, because Harry is not looking threatening at the moment, and the nerves will kick in a bit. But Morgan Smith has the ball at his feet out on the left hand side at the moment. It's looking to get it back for Devine, which he does. But, they're closing down quickly again on Needham Market, and there's a mistake by McNally. Doesn't cost them though, and now Riley Reynolds out on the right hand side. Can he pull it back for Hemmings? Yes, he can. Hemmings shoots and scores! Excellent play by Riley Reynolds on the right hand side. Took it to the byline, pulled it back for Hemmings, who had a bit of space, and he buried it past the keeper. Goal 27 for him. And Harriers now have a bit of breathing space. It's Kidderminster Harriers 2, Needham Market 0.
Kidderminster Harriers, sponsored by Bertec, and scored by your number 10.
Here in the background, coming on 63, Hemmings again. Good play by Riley Reynolds. Just teed him up, and they'd actually, for once, stood back off Ashley Hemmings, and he had a clear sighter and put it to the keeper's left, and a huge sigh of relief goes around Agborough. Harriers 2, Needham Market 0. Well, it came out of nothing, but I was saying about trying to get some width out on that right hand side. Reynolds went back out there, and he had kept his composure to tee Hemmings up, and Hemmings, well, he just keeps on scoring. He's had a couple of hat-tricks this season, and now he's 2 with 27 minutes left. Although I wouldn't be surprised if Phil Brown probably only gives him another 5 minutes or so, and we'll have one eye on Tuesday at Brackley. And maybe the chance to perhaps bring on Ben Beresford and get some minutes into his legs, because he could be crucial in this run-in, and potentially games in the playoff as well, to want to get him up to match speed. Harriers 2 goals up. Harriers 2, Needham Market 0. Goal in each half, both from Ashley Hemmings. Goal 26 and 27 for the season. Both having a key role played in them in the build-up by Riley Reynolds, back in the side today in place of Dave Worrell. So no signs of changes for Harriers at the moment. Ball is with Christian Dibble. Clears long, good distance on that, and Morgan Smith looking to get on the end of it and then possibly shoot on the turn. Didn't fall for him now, and Reynolds, it's just his pass was intercepted by Jacob Lay. So it's the visitors in possession, looking to get Seth Chambers away, but sloppy play there has put Dibble under pressure, and it's gone behind for the first corner of the half. In fact, Needham Market's first corner of the game. Harriers won 3 in the first half, but that'll be a huge sense of annoyance if Harriers concede here after just a bit of sloppy play. Tevin Allen has gone across to take it. Harriers got everyone back in the area. It's over on the far side. They're kicking from left to right in the second half. Needham Market gone short though. Back to Hammond, but they've really given. It's good work by Harriers closing down there, but that was poor play by Needham Market. They've hardly got into the Harriers area at all, and there, when they had the opportunity, they went short, and the cross was charged down. And now they've been forced back to the halfway line. So good pressing by Harriers. Ball's back in the Needham Market half. They've got to start from deep. It's Ben Hunter, twisting and turning. Approaches the halfway line. And then they break forward down the right-hand side. But Davis is across there, looking to just shield the ball and let it run into touch, which he does. Good play by the former Birmingham man, using his experience there. I think it might be seeing Paul Downing in the not too distant future, whether with that game against Brackley coming up, Carl Morrison will get a bit of a rest, because having lost Candela and Worrell, can ill afford to lose what has turned out to be their talisman, with Morrison coming back to the club. And we're also going to see Ben Beresford as well, so see him for the first time since the 12th of November. 3 starts, 4 substitute appearances, 3 goals for him. It'll be a huge relief for him to get back out there onto the pitch, and he's going to get best part of 25 minutes into his legs. Harriers have a goal kick. Dibble takes. Dibble looking for clean sheet number 23 for the season. Hasn't had a save to make in the game as yet. Had a moment of concern in the 3rd minute when Luke Ingram headed wide. But it'd be good, Matty, to see Beresford back into the action.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that, as you said, he's going to get a bit of a chunk as well. It's not just going to be a couple of minutes of injury time. That is if he comes on. He's still warming up at the moment, although that is with a Harriers shirt on. And it will be a big plus.
Yeah, I would have thought Hemmings will make way for him, and be interesting to see if Downing does come on, who makes way for him. But here's a bit of space for Devine on the left-hand side. Approaching the 18-yard box, goes on the outside, comes back though, double up on him, and now Davis finds Devine again, comes in field, has been pulled down, and Harriers have a free kick. Is Phil Brown going to make the change now? Yes, I think he is, because I can see him signalling to Beresford, and Neil MacDonald, the man with the bit of paper that's given to the 4th official. So I don't think he's going to come on before the free kick is taken, but in fact we are, because the assistant on this near side has signalled to the referee. Or are we? Saw this the other day, it's a bit of is he, isn't he, coming on or not. The 4th official taking his time in just getting his board with the correct numbers on, but they are going to take the free kick before the substitution's made. It's Kuyar to the far side of the box. Keeper punches away, not convincingly. Back in, on the keeper, almost caught off his line by Hemmings there. Just had to adjust his feet and claw it away for Harriers' first corner of the half. Still we wait for the substitution. Richards has gone across to take this corner. I'm not really sure what they're waiting for. And that's perhaps an opportunity for Hemmings to get his hat-trick. Nice little ball inside for Riley Reynolds, and it's been tucked away at the near post. Might well be Kuyar again that's got it for goal number 11 for the season. Reynolds again was the man that created it, laid it into the area, and just glanced in off the foot by Kuyar. And Harriers now safe for the 3 points. It's Harriers 3, Needham Market 0. It's come with 20 minutes to go. So in the 71st minute, and again, it was that man Riley Reynolds who created it. Just a nice little ball inside. And again, talking about the confidence of Kuyar, he let the ball come across him and then just glanced it with, I think it was the left foot, wide of the keeper to make the point safe. And again, increasing that goal difference to 38 now. And in fact, it's not Hemmings that's coming off. It's the Harriers captain, Amari Morgan-Smith, who gets the rest. And Beresford coming on after 72 minutes. And I can tell you, Rennie Campbell has doubled the lead for Hereford. They now lead against Curzon Ashton by 2-0. So 2 good scorelines for our local clubs this afternoon. Hereford leading by 2-0, Harriers by 3-0. And we've got to see Beresford for 20 minutes plus whatever stoppage time there is. But just going back to the goal difference, Harriers now up to plus 38. And when you look at Chester, I think still 2 goals down, they're on plus 22. So a massive difference between those two. Brackley are on plus 23. And Harriers on the attack again through Reynolds, who deserves a goal himself. Hemmings looking to get on for the hat-trick, and the ball just ran away from him there, came back off Beresford, and the keeper claimed it down at the feet of Harriers' leading goal scorer. It's suddenly looking at a very different game. The nerves have gone now, and Harriers are about to bring on Paul Downing, who'll be the third substitution. Just waiting. In fact, are they going to make it now before we have a throw into Harriers? Indeed we are. And we'll see who the man coming off is. Okay, is it Richards coming off? In fact, no, we're not. It's just that Kurz and Ashton are making a change for it. So Jacob Lay has come off. He's been replaced by Iffy Allen. And for Harriers, still waiting to see is Ashley Hemmings coming off. So Hemmings is off, Downing is on. What's that going to mean? No, he's not. He's given the armband up, Hemmings, given it to Davis, and it's Kuya that's coming off. I tell you, the last few games, the substitutions have been something of a farce from the fourth official trying to sort things out. So Downing is on, Kuya is off after scoring his 11th goal of the season. And now what's that doing? So we've got, I think Harry has gone to a back 4 with Downing alongside Morrison. McNally has gone to right back, Richards to left back, Beresford is up front with Hemmings, and then the midfield is Devine, Brown, Davis and Reynolds. From Harry's point of view, you feel it's just getting through these final 15 minutes without picking up any injuries. If they manage to get a goal, it's a bonus, but I'm sure it's just block everything off at the moment and steer clear of any injuries, which is probably why Candela and Morgan Smith have gone off. They've been given a rest. Hemmings got a bit of a rest against Scunthorpe on Tuesday, and also with two goals to his name, will be looking for the hat-trick. Nearly got it a few minutes ago, but Matty, those goals on 61 and 63 and 71 have taken the wind out of the visitors. We're also seeing Lutz coming on, so Charlie Lutz is coming on for Zach Brown.
Coming
on 76 minutes. And I think Matty, what he's doing here is just giving players a rest ahead of Tuesday. Give you some other scores. Buxton 0, Kings Lynn 1 now. Chorley 2, Alfreton 0. Rushall still leading Darlington by 2 goals to 1. Hereford 2, Curzon Ashton 0. Leamington 2, South Shields 0. Marine 2, Peterborough Sports 1. Oxford City 4, Warrington 0. Brackley lead Ratcliffe by 2 goals to 0. Southport 0, Scarborough 1. Scunthorpe 2, Chester 0. And Spennymoor 4, Farsley Celtic 0. It brings you up to date with the other games in the National League North here at Agborough. Here on BBC Hereford and Worcester, 104 and 104.6. It's Kidderminster Harriers 3, Needham Market 0. Goals from Hemmings on 33 and 63 minutes. His 26th and 27th of the season, and Maz Kuya's 11th goal of the season on 71. But they could be conceding one here. In fact, they have done. A ball on the left-hand side, and Dibble came off his line, and the ball's been slid past him by the substitute Seth Chambers, and Dibble's clean sheet has gone, and suddenly Harriers have got something to think about. Goal out of nothing there. Played forward, left-hand side of the box, off his line, And a composed finish there by Seth Chambers, coming on 77 minutes. So that's going to annoy Phil Brown, and certainly Christian Dibble. Stops him from moving on to 23 clean sheets. And just shows that you take your foot off the gas for a moment, that kind of thing happens. Riley Reynolds with a shot that's taken a deflection, keeper saves comfortably. So sub Seth Chambers pulls one back. And Harriers just caught napping there. And we'll look to, they've still got a bit of breathing space. But again, they're just a little bit sloppy at the back here. They've taken the foot off the gas. And once you do that, it's difficult to pick it up again. Morgan Smith has gone off, Brown's gone off, Kuyar and Candela. So it's a very different Harriers looking side at the moment, but just caught napping there.
Just trying to think as well, the last time Harriers, or at least very recently, how many Harriers goals have been conceded at home. I don't think it's very many at all.
I think was it Spennymoor the last one? And they lost that game just before they started this run. Lost 3-1 to Spennymoor, beat Kings Lynn 2-0, Scarborough 3-0 and Scunthorpe 1-0. But yeah, still Phil Brown now just looking a little bit pensive, and the ball's played into the Harriers box here. Looked as though Rhys Devine was being pulled back there. Referee said play on them.
Well, you make the point about that being irritating, and hopefully it doesn't have a bearing on the result of the game, because I mean there's enough time left in the game for Needham to score more. But at 3-0, as you said, you start thinking about the goal difference, don't you? And all of a sudden 2-0 isn't quite as glossy where that's concerned. So it will be frustrating on a number of levels, I'm sure.
11 minutes to go of the 90. Harriers 3, Needham Market 1. Beresford heading the ball inside. Lutz loses out, and that's just given them a little bit of belief. Needham Market, they're pushing forward with numbers now. Ball into the area, Dibble takes and drops down to the ground, as he tends to do when we're getting to the end of the game and Harriers are leading. But there's an opportunity here for Lutz. The Harriers front line now is looking at Beresford on the left, Hemmings in the middle and Lutz on the right hand side. Lutz still looking for his first goal, and been restricted to cameo appearances off the bench. Charlie Lutz still, as I say, looking for that first goal. Had some chances against Farsley Celtic, but this is his 10th appearance. Yet to start a game. McNally looking for Lutz down that right hand side, but should be comfortably dealt with by Ben Hunter. In fact it is. Lets the ball run out harmlessly for a goal kick. But you do feel that Lutz needs a goal just to give him that bit of a lift and more confidence if he is going to come off the bench or even start in this run in, because it looks as though with that win today, Scunthorpe against the team in second place will probably go on and get the automatic playoff, the automatic promotion place, and that means Harriers are going to have more games in terms of the playoffs, and they need players that are in form and feeling confident. They're having to defend again in their own half. Ball comes in from the left hand side. Dibble should claim and does, and in no hurry to get Harriers attacking. We just hold on to it here. We saw on Tuesday against Scunthorpe when they were leading by 1-0 that he got rid of one quickly, and Devine wasn't watching and got hit on the back, and it could have led to a chance as he went past Phil Brown there. Rhys Devine, Phil Brown just had a word with Rhys Devine. Can tell you there's been another goal at Edgar Street. Curzon Ashton have pulled one back. It's Hereford 2, Curzon Ashton 1 now. So as Harriers conceded here, Hereford have conceded at Edgar Street. 3-1, Harriers lead. From what I can see, no other changes in the other games in the National League North. Kings Lynn still leading at Buxton. Chorley 2-0 up against Alfreton, and Scunthorpe still leading Chester by 2-0 as Downing just needed to be aware that there was a man in the middle. It was Jake Watkis, another one of the subs that was lurking there. Ball's at the other end, not for long though. It's flag goes up for offside. Not seen too many offside decisions this afternoon, but it's gone up there against Watkis, and Harriers can just take a few more seconds out of the game.
I imagine all of these stoppages will be really important for Harriers now, because it takes the wind out of the momentum of the Needham sails, because with 7 to go of normal time, if they grabbed another here, it doesn't matter where you are on the table, the jitters really do start, so every little stop in play will help.
With the goal scorer Chambers, you can see he's after everything up there. He's just added a little bit of pace and impetus there. They brought on Iffy Allens, he's playing on the right hand side, almost playing with 5 up top at the moment, Needham Market, so that should be creating spaces at the other end. Riley Reynolds, who's created or had a hand in all 3 goals, picks up the loose ball. Now McNally finds Davis, playing on the half turn, finds Lutz, who goes back to the halfway line. Morrison finds Lutz in a bit of space, looks to the left hand side, but poor ball from him, intercepted by Tevin Allen, and Needham can start again from the back. Start to build down that left hand side. Ball just over the head of McNally, but who else but reading it well was Morrison across there to put it to the back of the purple granite stand over on that far side. 6 minutes plus stoppage time to go. Harriers 3, Needham Market 1. But plenty of bodies forward. Over the head though of Iffy Allen, and Harriers clear. Not for long though, just giving the ball away a little bit at the moment, and Divine as well, shielding it and then clearing into the Needham Market half. Beresford's after it, and Kieran Morphew did just enough there to get the ball back to his keeper and gets the return ball. Intercepted though by Divine. Handball, referee says yes against Morphew. May get a yellow card, indeed he does. He's deliberately handling there, so the second booking I think of the game. Reece Divine getting one on 62 minutes, and the Needham Market skipper going likewise into the referee's book on 85. So 5 minutes plus stoppage time to go. Harriers free kick on this near side, midway inside the Needham Market half, which Reynolds will take. In fact, there's another booking there. I think that was just something that Hammond had to say. He's been chuntering a fair bit in this second half, so the referee's had enough of him. So Reynolds will take this free kick. Surprisingly, Harriers have put the central defenders forward for it, and it goes towards the penalty area. Up go the heads, and coming around the back was Downing. Couldn't get on the end of it, and that was a decent ball in, and he would have expected somebody to be on the end of that one.
This afternoon's official match attendance is 3,263. That's 3,263.
3,263, good attendance.
Travelling supporters.
57.
57. So 3,200 Harriers supporters in here today, so non-league day is really worked out. Been a good atmosphere here. A lot of youngsters as well, which has raised the decibel level. So we're into 87 minutes now. Morrison at the back wins yet another ball. Davis strides forward towards the halfway line, got a nudge in the back, goes down, free kick given. And again, Davis using experience there, just waiting for the challenge to come in and take some time out of the game.
Yeah, just back to your point, there are a number of players at the far post really frustrated that they didn't get on the end of that. Well, Ben Beresford not least, I think he saw his eyes light up with that delivery coming into the box, and a nice near post far post finish would do him well, but just evading all of them in the end.
So over 6 foot tall Beresford, looks old style type of centre forward, very solid, got the tape around the bottom of his ankles. As Reynolds twits one way then the other, crosses into the area, looking towards the back, and it's been headed across the face of goal and behind for a goal kick. That was a good opportunity, and was that Downing at the back there who met that?
I think it might have been Hemmings. I think it was Hemmings close to the hat-trick there. He was hugging the net for a while. He realised that one was close.
Yeah, I couldn't see. It was just obscured. We could see Downing was in and around the back and saw him pulling away. But another good ball in. And I think Riley Reynolds, it's probably the best I've seen him play. He's coming in place of Dave Worrell. Big shoes to fill. And he's created 3 goals. And he's been all action. But got some defending to do here. Or Morrison concedes a corner. So Needham Market's second of the game, second of the half. And it's on this near side. It's the signal for Harriers to pull everybody back into the area. And if they concede here, well, it really would be a nervy finish. So all bar one have been pushed forward for Needham Market. In it comes, it's a deep one. Headed into the 6-yard box. Player's gone down there. Referee said play on though. Might have been a nudge in the back there. Referee saw it but said play on. And Needham Market in possession again through Watkis on this near side. His pass is charged down though, but well, he's got away from 2 players too easily there. Shot from Watkis is deflected. And I was just a little bit guilty there of, I think they've lost a bit of intensity from their play and just allowing Needham Market to, as they did there. Player got away from 2 Harriers men. Phil Brown just clapping his hands and chivvying his side up. Not long to go. We're in the 80, just about to go into the 90th minute actually, as Hemmings has the ball at the opposite end of the field though, and comes towards goal, goes over, referee said play on. Crossfield ball, which is headed forward by Rhys McNally. Beresford holding off a player there, can't hold off Ben Hunter though, and Harriers being forced backwards again. Watkis 25 yards out, looks to Allen on the left hand side, ball into the area, touched away for a corner by Dibble. The ball was going wide, he wasn't to know that, and Seth Chambers was coming in at the far post anyway, so he made sure, but it's another corner.
You can't argue with the impetus of Needham Market in the last 20 minutes, can you?
No, the 3 changes have made a difference, and again they're throwing men forward. Harriers have got everybody back inside the penalty area. The referee not happy, I think, with where players got the ball for the corner. Why they need to rely on millimetres in these positions, I don't know. Cross comes in though, away by Davis. Harriers need to push out here. They're slow to do so. 6 minutes to be added on. We're into the stoppage time. Hammond, cross from the right hand side. Dibble gathers low down. Good take by the Harriers keeper. And got a little knock there from Chambers, and he'll take a few more seconds out of the game.
Official match sponsor, Prospect Coaches, goes to number 10,
Ashley Hemmings, been named man of the match when he scored 2 goals. I don't think you can argue that, but I would make a case for Riley Reynolds.
Yep, he's grown as the game's gone on, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Since he provided the assist, if you like, for the goal, he's been in top form.
I think he struggled early on to know his position, playing in that wing-back position. But once he found his feet, he's really come into the game and been influential. But Hemmings, that's not a great ball for him to Devine on the left-hand side. Allows Tevin to pick it up and bring it forward. And I will tell you that former Harriers man have made the points safe for Hereford. Cisse, I should say, I'll get there in the end, has made it Hereford 3, Curzon Ashton 1. Struggled to really make an impact here at Agborough a couple of seasons ago. But Reynolds finds Beresford, edge of the area. Couldn't take the ball in his stride though. And
good sharp turn that, wasn't it, on the edge of the area? Just a little flash of what he'll bring once he's match fit.
Just couldn't take it. As you say, nice spin. So Hereford leading by 3 goals to 1, as are Harriers here. Just looking to see if there's any scores in any changes in the other games. But Needham Market on the attack. Oxford still leading Warrington 4-0. Ratcliffe have pulled one back against Brackley. It's 2-1 there now. And Chester have pulled one back against Scunthorpe, but Scunthorpe 3, Chester 1. But the flag stays down, and Watkins is on the attack on the inside the area. Great work by Morrison, blocks his challenge. He's a shot with a really solid challenge there, but he got it forward in a bit of space. Long ball forward, looking for Beresford on the left-hand side, and Beresford back in the side today. Although he's only getting about 20-25 minutes, he'll be searching for that second wind, which is the thing that you need to find when you've been out for a while. You can see him, he's blowing a bit away to our left. 3 minutes of stoppage time played. 3 to go. Needham Market with a throw in on this near side. So just looking at the second half, Matty, Harriers has scored 2 goals, but a shot from Brown. Other than that, the goalkeeper hasn't had too much to do.
Yeah, haven't been rafts of chances in Harriers' recent games. They've just discovered a real clinical touch, haven't they?
Well, after the drama of Tuesday, it's the last thing they wanted today, and it's been pretty routine. They've although they pull one back, Needham Market, other than that, Christian Dibble hasn't had any kind of a save of note to make. We may do here because they're on the attack again, just outside the area, shot from distance, outside of the foot, has taken a deflection off Davis and gone behind for a corner. So 2 minutes of stoppage time to go. 4 corners Needham Market have had in the second half, and they've probably all come within the last 15 minutes or so. Goalkeeper hasn't gone forward because he's not really the height that's going to add anything. He'll add a bit of bulk in the area if he went forward, but not height. It's a corner far side. Harriers everyone back. Dibble fists it away, taken well on the chest by Riley Reynolds, who clears the halfway line. Harriers slow to come out again, and the ball will come back. Hammond now on the right hand side, cross from Hunter into the area. Dibble comes and claims. Confident work by the keeper, and Hemmings, is he onside? Flag stays down, he looked offside to me. Keeper to beat. Hemmings has scored! Another hat-trick for Ashley Hemmings, his 3rd of the season. Well, he looked offside. The Needham Market bench are enraged by that. The flag stayed down there, and I wondered why Dibble was clearing at this stage of the game as he did. Well, that's the reason why. He saw Hemmings in space, just the keeper to beat. The keeper got a hand to it, but Hemmings saw the ball trickle into the net, and in the final minutes of stoppage time, it's Harriers 4, Needham Market 1. Ashley Hemmings with a hat-trick. Well, goal 28 for Hemmings, and an assist from Christian Dibble. But I'd like to see that again when we see the film of it, because he did look to be a good yard offside, and I saw the Needham Market bench with hands in the air there, couldn't believe it. But it didn't stop Hemmings. He didn't get the cleanest shot off, but he got enough on it. Keeper couldn't keep it out, and 28 goals for him this season. Harriers 4, Needham Market 1. Long ball forward, Richards heads on, so Harriers have got that 3-goal cushion again. Increase the goal difference, maybe one more here as Hemmings just inside the Needham Market half, inside for Reynolds. Referee's going to let them go on. He's got McNally out on the right hand side. Can he get the ball into the box? So he's closed down and beaten by Iffy Allen. Harriers win it back. Throw in over on the far side, is it? No, it's gone behind for a goal kick. So that will probably be it. In fact, that is it. Harriers, well, wanted a routine win after Tuesday night. It's become a routine win. They had to work for it, but a hat-trick from Ashley Hemmings and a fourth from Maz Kuyar. There's one back for the visitors from the substitute Chef Chalmers, but Matty, in the end, it was a comfortable win.
Yeah, no real complaints. Obviously, it was a bit of a, not a nervy spell, but a bit of a scrappier spell after Needham did manage to pull a goal back. But 4 goals again for Harriers, another Ashley. It is the season of the boy's life. I don't know where he might have played elsewhere in his career. He won't have had a season like this one. What a special player. Hopefully ends up being a special season for Harriers, because a season like that has to get rewarded, and been rewarded for their work this afternoon, to say the least, and Phil Brown will be a happy man, I'm sure.
3 more points for Harriers in front of 3,263. It's finished Kidderminster Harriers 4, Needham Market 1.
And that will do nicely. 3 goals for Ashley Hemmings. Harriers 4, Needham Market 1. What about the Bulls? They've finally found the back of the net. Hereford versus Curzon Ashton. It's finished for Carson Wishart.
What an afternoon here at Edgar Street. It's ended Hereford 3, Curzon Ashton 1. And I can tell you that Hereford FC are back in the playoff places tonight, up to 6 in the league. And Curzon Ashton drop out. They're now in 8th. And it was an incredible 90 minutes. It was full flowing football. It was the pendulum was swinging one way and the other. But Hereford carved out the best chances in the first half. They had 3 in the final 2 minutes. Remay Campbell with 2 headers that were saved and just wide, and Tate Campbell smashed a shot onto the crossbar from 12 yards out. You wanted Hereford to continue with their tails up in the second half, continue where they left off, and they did just that in the second period. Just 10 minutes it took of the second half for Jaden White to make a sweet strike a yard inside the box, left of the D, and it just was buried into the bottom left-hand corner past Bobby Jones. So 1-0 to the Bulls. They got the breakthrough, and you wanted a second goal to come. It did on 67. This time it was Remay Campbell who just had a half a second or so just to stop himself in the 6-yard box. He was unmarked. It was a terrible mistake by the Curzon defence, who just didn't get the ball away. Fell to Remay Campbell, and he just lobbed it into the net for his 5th goal of the season. So 2-0 to the Bulls, and you felt they still needed a third, because then Curzon Ashton threw the kitchen sink at it. They brought 4 players up front, brought on their player manager as well. They brought on Craig Marn, and they went for it, and they got a goal back to make it 2-1. It was that man Hayhurst on this left-hand side, unmarked, whipped the ball into the box, and then it was the substitute, Michael AFU, who just slotted it home from 12 yards out. So 2-1. You didn't want Hereford to fall back like they did at Marine. They continued on the front foot, and there was Yusufu Cisse, the man who's fasting for Ramadan. He was rested, he didn't start the game. Paul Caddy said he looked tired at Scarborough last weekend, but he latched on to a goal kick that bounced once just outside the area, and then he beautifully lobbed it over the on-rushing Bobby Jones to wrap it up, and that goal coming deep into injury time. So Hereford, they have back into winning ways, 4 games without a win until this afternoon, but they've won at a canter here really. Hereford 3, Curzon Ashton 1.
Carson, thank you. So wins for both Hereford and Kidderminster Harriers. Hereford 3, Curzon Ashton 1, as you heard there. White, Campbell and Cisse. Kidderminster Harriers 4, Needham Market 1. 3 more for Ashley Hemmings, his 26th, 27th and 28th goal of the season. Maz Kuyar also on target for Phil Brown's men. Let's go into the Southern League Division 1 South. We've been watching Evesham United against Cribbs this afternoon. Steve Carley has the full time there.
Yes, and Evesham United march on. They've beaten Cribbs here by 2-0, both coming from Toby Raisin late in the game, but no less than Evesham deserved their dominance that saw them force no fewer than 14 corners, all told, meaning they extend their winning run 4 wins in a row, 12 wins in 15. All told, a run stretching back to the beginning of the year. They were dominant pretty much throughout. Rode the luck on a couple of occasions. Then in the 77th minute, corner came in from the left-hand side, and Toby Raisin powered in the header to break the deadlock and bring the roof off the stand away to my right here at the Jubilee Stadium. And then 8 minutes later, the corner came in from the other side, this time from Will Owens, and ping ball in the area, and Raisin bundled it home. but it's, to say, no less than Evesham deserved. They have cut the lead, cut Yates' lead at the top to 3 points. Yates held by Bideford today, so Evesham move up to 72 points, 3 behind the leaders. Their impressive run continues. Toby Raisin at the double in front of 422 here. Evesham United 2, Cribs 0.
Yeah, some big crowds across the region today. This is National Non-League Day, what with the big boys not playing. There was 400 plus at Evesham. There was 500 plus at Sudbury, but AFC Sudbury have beaten Redditch by a goal to nothing in the basement battle in the Southern League Premier Central. Evesham making ground on Yate, as Steve says. They've been held. And look at Malvern. We'll confirm this in a moment, but I reckon Malvern have beaten Bashley by 5 goals to 2. They're unbeaten run if that's the case, but Steve Carley will confirm it in a moment. That means the Hillsiders are unbeaten in 11 and well in amongst it with the playoffs. Let's have a check, shall we, on the rugby now. It's National 2 West, Bourneville versus Luctonians. Here's Dave Thomas.
Yes, Malcolm, a yo-yo of a game here. Final score, Bourneville 27, Luctonians 38. But that's by no means the score, the story of the game. As I said to you, half-time, Bourneville came back into it. Luctonians were cruising at 3 points to 19. They had 3 tries on the board. And right on half-time, Bourneville came back with a try, making it 13-19 at half-time. But then just after half-time, some Luctonians mistakes allowed Bourneville winger to go over on the left-hand side, which they converted wide out. 20 points to 19, Bourneville. And then 10 minutes in, Luctonians got some stability, got back into the game. Some good play up the midfield. Kick for the corner from a penalty. Caleb Montgomery, a wonderful catch. Line-out catch, drive, try. I'm sorry, I don't know who scored it, but that was... And 20 minutes later, Tom Jones, who'd just come on the field, we were under pressure by Bourneville for at least 10 minutes, defending our own line and defending it very well. We had a pressure relieving penalty from Tom Jones, long way up the pitch. Then we got another penalty, and it put us up into the corner, and we won the line out, moved the ball to the right, a long pass from Caleb Montgomery put Aikman in the corner. That puts it to 20 points to 31. And on 40 minutes, right at the death, Bourneville came back and a former Luctonian, Reese Price, darted over from a little scrum half sneak, making it 27-31. But there was still time to play. We kicked off. Bourneville attacked. Caleb Montgomery, again, my man of the match, turned the ball over. So we thought, that's it. We'll kick the ball out, win the game. No, our scrum half, Owen Randall, took a quick tap penalty, cantered under the post, caught Bourneville napping, which he converted himself to give a final score, Bourneville 27, Luctonians 38. So it was a mixed match game here. It could have gone either way, but we're taking home 5 points and we're very pleased to do so.
Wonderful stuff. Thank you, Dave. That's 2 on the bounce then for Lux. They beat Camborne at Mortimer Park last week. Camborne top of the table, and now they've beaten struggling Bourneville by 38 points to 27. 2 on the bounce. Looks like a strong finish for them. That's just what Ryan Watkins was talking about right at the start of the show. So go back to Steve Carley to round up the rest of our football results. What we got, Steve?
Well, let's confirm that Malvern Town result. Yes, they beat Bashley by 5 goals to 2 in Division 1 South, which means, though, they will still stay 6th in the table because Bemerton Heath Harlequins, who are in that last playoff spot, they beat Exmouth Town by a goal to 0. So they'll leapfrog Exmouth, and Malvern will be 1 point behind Exmouth. So closing in on the playoff. The goals came from 2 from Lewis Spurrier, Joe Bullock, a penalty for Jack Watts, and Ryan Brunt, the new signing, sealing a memorable day really for Malvern as they go 11 unbeaten, and the playoff push marches on. In the Southern League Premier Division, though, it's a Central Division. Redditch United, it's getting a little bit desperate really for the Reds. They were beaten 1-0 at AFC Sudbury in that relegation battle, so the Reds now perilously hovering over the drop zone and running out of games in that division. Bromsgrove Sporting also on the receiving end of a defeat. They lost at the Victoria Ground by 2-1 against Banbury. Theo Robinson scored for Sporting. Dan Sweeney got an equaliser for Alvechurch. They drew 1-1 at Lye Meadow against Leiston. Worcester City in the Northern Premier Division Midlands League, they were 2-0 winners at 10-man Boldmere St Michael's, which means it's now 4 wins in 5 for Chris Corns' side. Liam Lockett and Felix Miles on target as City keep up their push to finish in the playoffs. In the Hellenic League Premier Division, Pershore Town, unfortunately, they can't reach the playoffs, but they have beaten Corsham nonetheless by 3-1. Harley Price, Rhys Day and Bailey Fuller on target for the Plums. Westfields were beaten at home 2-0 by Roman Glass St George. And the latest score for you for the Division 1 leaders in the Hellenic setup. It's Kidlington 1, Droitwich Spa 5, and that included a first half hat-trick from Perry Moss.
Great stuff, Steve. Thank you. You're bang up to date. So, the National League North, let's run down the scores and see where we all stand in the table. And it's, well, looking quite bright again. Let's see. Buxton 0, Kings Lynn 1. That was a top of the table clash going into that game. Buxton was 6th, Kings Lynn were 9th. Kings Lynn win it by the odd goal at Buxton. Chorley maintained their good run. Chorley wore 7th going into the game against Alfreton. They've beaten Alfreton by 2-0. It's finished Darlington 2, Rushall Olympic 2. We know Hereford have beaten Curzon Ashton by 3-1. Vital that for the Bulls. Maybe Paul Caddis is going to turn it around again. Let's see. Kidderminster 4, Needham Market 1. Ashley Hemmings with another hat-trick. He doesn't stop scoring, does he? 33, 63, 90 plus 5. 4-1 for Phil Brown's men. He's going to be happy with that. Leamington 2, South Shields 0, Marine 2, Peterborough Sports 1, Oxford City 4, Warrington 0. Now Radcliffe 1, Brackley 2 means that Brackley continue the pressure on the top two, and the top two played each other today, and it finished Scunthorpe the leaders 3, Chester in second 1. Southport were beaten 1-0 at home against Scarborough Athletic, and Spennymoor Town beat Farsley Celtic by 4-0. So the table as it stands then: Scunthorpe top, played 40, points 78. Brackley Town move into second because Chester lost against Scunthorpe. Brackley Town beating Radcliffe today. They're on 74 in second. Kidderminster Harriers on 73 in third. 5 points off the leaders Scunthorpe. Chester dropped to fourth on 73, equal points with Kidderminster Harriers. It's Chorley in fifth on 67. Hereford back in amongst it. How about that? 66 points from 40. And suddenly it seems a lot brighter, doesn't it? Crisis? Yeah, what crisis? Kings Lynn Town occupy the final playoff place after today's action. Kings Lynn Town played 40, points 66. So Scunthorpe at the top with 78. Brackley second, 74. Kidderminster third, 73. Chester also on 73 in fourth. Chorley 67 in fifth. Hereford sixth on 66. And it's all the sixes, clickety-click, for Kings Lynn Town in 7th position as well. Let's have a look at League 1 and League 2. Of course, no action because it's an international break as far as the Premiership and the Championship are concerned. So, into League 1, let's have a look, see what we've got here. Barnsley 1, Cambridge United 1. Cambridge United will be pleased with that point. They've been struggling, Cambridge, right at the bottom, second bottom. So not quite right at the bottom. Crawley 1, Bristol Rovers 0. It's finished. These are all full times. Lincoln 0, Exeter 0. Northampton 0, Blackpool 2, Peterborough 3, Charlton 0. Wrexham go into second place. They've leapfrogged Wickham after a 1-0 win over 10 men Stockport County. So Wrexham go into second on 71 points on goal difference from Wickham, but they're a country mile away from Birmingham City, who are running away with the league. In League 2, Notts County 0, Crewe Alexandra 0, AFC Wimbledon. Oh, I say that because AFC Wimbledon were third. They were going to go second just behind Warsaw, but Barrow, I've just noticed, have got it's finished now, but they got a 90 plus 6th minute equaliser. So it's as you were for AFC Wimbledon, 2 apiece it finished there. Bradford are going well, 4-1 winners over Colchester. That closes the gap on Warsaw to just 1 point now. Remember when it was 12? It's 1. now at the top because Walsall were held to a goalless draw at Gillingham. Carlisle 2, Bromley 1, Cheltenham 0, Milton Keynes Dons 1. It's 0-0 Chesterfield Harrogate, 0-0 Fleetwood Tranmere Rovers, 0-0 as I say Gillingham Walsall. Grimsby have beaten Newport County by a goal to 0. Port Vale have beaten Morecambe right at the bottom. They are bottom, rock bottom. They've been beaten today by a goal to 0. 0-0 Swindon Accrington Stanley. Wake me up when it's all over, will you? In the National League then, just quickly run down these results. I said Ebbsfleet, poor Ebbsfleet, stranded at the bottom, 22 from safety. It looked as if they were going to get a win today, but they've been held to a 3-3 draw by Aldershot. York City have been beaten. That'll knock their promotion credentials by Braintree by 2-1. It's finished Sutton 1, Dagenham 1, Eastleigh 1, Southend 2. Fylde have beaten Forest Green Rovers. So second and third, both beaten in the National League. That's going to give Barnet a bit of a fillip as they go into their game at 5:30 tonight against Altrincham. They're already there or thereabouts champions, but nobody can close the gap on them. Tamworth have got a good win today. They've beaten Gateshead at Gateshead by 2-0, and Solihull Moors have been beaten by 3-0 at home against Yeovil Town. And at 5:15, you are bang up to date.
Sport on Saturday.
BBC Hereford and Worcester.
Make a difference when someone has given so much.
It's great to give something back.
It's incredible. It's something I never expected.
Celebrate the incredible volunteers,
The great neighbours.
and the outstanding fundraisers by nominating them for a BBC Make a Difference award.
It's a shock, but it feels fantastic.
Go to bbc.co.uk/make-a-difference where you can see a list of categories, full terms and our privacy notice.
It's just so rewarding. Nominations are open now and close on the 31st of March at 5 p.m.
I just like to see things being better.
Thank you very much.
BBC Hereford and Worcester.
Make a difference.
And as I say today, some great attendances around the patch. 3,263 at Kidderminster Harriers. They watched Kiddy win 4-1. 57 of those were Needham Market fans, so a good 3,200. That's what we want to see. Again, a big crowd. I was listening to the goals going in at Edgar Street and the roar. Goodness gracious me, they blew the roof off. Mind you, they wanted that win at Edgar Street. I reckon they'd have had a good couple of thousand there by the sounds of it. There was more than 500 watching Redditch United, but they didn't see very much as far as the Reds were concerned. Reds now, well, they've got a bit of a problem on their hands here. AFC Sudbury were third bottom going into that game today. Redditch were fifth bottom, 5 off the drop, and Reds have been beaten by a 0-0. Matt Clark, and they are struggling. 422 at Evesham. That's what we want to see at the Spires and Hartwell Stadium. It's incredible, really, isn't it? These two in the Southern League Division 1 South. Evesham 1 defeat in 15, and they've closed the gap now to just 2 points to the once runaway leaders Yate Town, who drew today. Malvern 5-2 against Bashley. You always see a good game when the Hillsiders play at home. They are unbeaten in 11, but they still can't get into the playoffs. They still can't get there, just outside, knocking on the door. Right, all the reaction to come from the Kiddie camp, from the Hereford camp. We're also at Evesham today, so I expect we'll hear from Mike Ford very soon as well. Let's have a look at this, though. Let's go back to last night and the internationals. England started life under their new head coach, Thomas Tuchel, with a 2-0 win over Albania. That was in their opening World Cup qualifier at Wembley. 18-year-old Arsenal fullback Miles Lewis-Skelly opened the scoring on his debut before captain Harry Kane sealed the win late on. Tuchel has been speaking to our football correspondent, John Murray.
So I've just been speaking to Miles Lewis-Skelly at 18 years old, who tonight has done something that he's never done before. And you tonight, at 51 years old, have done something that you've never done before. A manager in international football. How was it?
Very exciting, very new experience. Miles put some debuts with me on the pitch, that I'm not all alone. So it was my first match, and Dan Burns and Miles' match, of course, and he did fantastic. It's nothing but impressive. The character and the confidence with which he plays football is amazing.
And overall, okay?
Okayish. Difficult opponent. I knew it before, that it can be tough to create chances. It can be tough to score against them. I think we got them in the shape of the Euros. of course, they come here, they play in front of 80,000 plus in Wembley on a Friday evening. Of course, they play in the role of an underdog, so they did everything to make life hard for us. We struggled to implement high rhythm. We struggled to implement also like runs into our games, runs into the opponent's box. Whenever we did it, we had goals or big chances. And in the second half, I felt that we lose the confidence in our structure, and everyone tries a little bit on its own, and then becomes slower. Our match becomes slower, and it's more difficult to have counter pressing and to control the counter attacks. But okay, that's it.
And in terms of the players expressing themselves and being up and at, and it can't happen overnight?
No, can maybe also not happen overnight. If I look at our wingers and I see them, how they train and what they do in their clubs, and it was difficult for them today to play with a full confidence and to have the impact that they can have. We will encourage them to. We played with wide wingers because we have fantastic players there. So, but they did not have the influence that we expected from them, and it is sometimes like this. So we need to make sure maybe that they have a better timing for the runs, and we have maybe shorter connection for 1-2s, that they can be more decisive.
The 1 or 2 paper planes being thrown down from the stands, which I can tell you Gareth Southgate also got in his first match as the England manager. Does that bother you?
No, I didn't see it. What does it mean?
Well, the suggestion being that when people aren't being massively entertained, they will make paper planes and throw them down.
Yeah, I can understand. You come and you want to see an open match, and you see basically a 10 against 10 in the last 30 meters of the pitch. I can understand that it's not the most exciting watch, but still we had to do what is needed to do professionally, keep the counterattacks to a minimum. This is what we did in the first half. That was very, very good. We took a little bit more risk in the second half, but it didn't work out in the way that we wanted. So let's see, we go from there.
We do indeed. His first game's out of the way. Thomas Tuchel talking there to the BBC's football correspondent, John Murray. Okay-ish. There's a word for you. For a 2-0 win, okay-ish. And Thomas. When the fans start throwing paper planes onto the pitch, they are bored. Must do better in the entertainment front. Anyway, it's a win for England, and Wales start their World Cup qualifying campaign later on this evening. They play Kazakhstan in Cardiff. That's a 7:45 kickoff. It's BBC Hereford and Worcester. It's Malcolm Boyd, and this is your sport on Saturday. People joining us all the time, so let's run down the final score, shall we? It's been a good day for both Hereford and Kidderminster Harriers in the National League North. Hereford beating Curzon Ashton by 3-1. Jaden White opened the scoring in the 50th minute. Ray Campbell got the second in the 67th. Yusufu Cisse, 90+2, made it 3-1 to the Bulls. Points secure, reset button pressed, and Paul Caddis's men can go again. They're back up into the playoff spots now, in 6th in the table. And what are they? 66, point off Chorley in 5th. And then it goes 7 points off Chester in 4th. But, you know, they're back in amongst it. It's all that matters. Kidderminster Harriers hit 4 against Needham Market. It finished at Aggborough in front of 3,263. Kidderminster Harriers 4, Needham Market 1. Ashley Hemmings, he's got another 3, hasn't he? Under his belt, his 26th, his 27th and 28th of the season. That will do nicely. And Maz Kuyar scored the other one. Harriers 4, Needham Market 1 in the Southern League Premier Central. Team's not doing so well here this season. Ulfchurch were held to a 1-1 draw at Lime Meadow by Leiston. Dan Sweeney scored for Ulfchurch, getting the equaliser. Bromsgrove Sporting lost 2-1 at the UK Electrical Stadium. Just thought I was going to have a sneeze then. It's all right, it's past, I'll be all right. Where was I? Bromsgrove Sporting, 1. Banbury United 2, they'll be talking about that at the Golden Cross. As I speak, probably. Theo Robinson scored for Sporting. I'll tell you if I'm going to sneeze again. I'll give you forewarning. I don't want you getting alarmed. But Redditch United have a few problems now. AFC Sudbury 1, Redditch United 0. Sudbury were 3rd bottom going into the game. Redditch were 5th bottom, and they've been beaten. Matt Clark's side. They're going to be looking over their shoulders. They continue to march on in the Southern League. Division 1 South, Evesham 2, Cribs 0. 1 defeat in 15 now for Mike Ford's side there, within 2 of the top, because Yate were held to a draw today. Yate were running away with it at one stage. And Malvern Town, 11 unbeaten, but they still can't get into the playoffs. They're knocking on the door. They beat Bashley by 5-2. Worcester City are cementing their place in the Northern Premier League Midlands Division. They won 2-0 at Boldmere St Michael's. Boldmere had a man sent off. 4 wins in 5 now for Chris Corn's side. In the Hellenic League Premier Division, good win for the Plums. Rhys Daly, Bailey Fuller and Hayley Price, or Harley Price I should say. Pershore Town 3, Caution 1. Westfields were beaten 2-0 against Roman Glass St George. And the Saltmen ran riot in the Hellenic League Division 1. They're going to win that league. 5-1 against the Greens of Kidlington. A Perry Moss first half hat-trick put them on their way. We're awaiting a reaction from the games. We'll bring it to you as soon as we get it. But while we wait, time for something a little bit different. Whatever you're up to this weekend, spare a thought for one man from Pershore, who, as I speak, is taking on the huge challenge of completing 10,000 burpees, I kid you not, in 24 hours. He started at 12 noon today. He's at it now. I know, I can see you shaking your heads in disbelief. His name's Jamie Grant from Pershore. He left his job as a Royal Marines commando and he struggled to find his place in normal life. So he reached out to the Royal Marines charity for help. Now he says the charity is the reason he's here today. So he's putting something back. Giving back to the people who he depended upon when he needed it. Well, I spoke to Jamie before he set off on burpee number 1. I said, I remember this idea being born. Blimey, the big day's come around quick, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. Actually, when you said people shaking their head, I was one of them. Yeah, you know, I've done all the hard work now, and now it's just a case of me, you know, putting my body into motion and getting it done. I think the first thing I've got to say is just a massive thank you to everybody that's donated. The support that I've received, Malcolm, you know, certainly after we went live with yourselves last time, has just been incredible. I literally can't believe I'm overwhelmed with the support, and the donations that we've had is incredible.
Yeah, and the charity means the world to you, Jamie, doesn't it?
Yeah, just well, last Thursday I was actually down at the Commando Training Centre, and I had a meeting with the charity just to chat about, you know, the challenge, and they did a video interview which went out on social media this week, and yeah, they've just helped me through some dark times, as they've done with so many, and you know, I'm just indebted to them for what they've done for me, and I just wanted to give back to them so that others can benefit like I did.
Well, I told you last time, Jamie, we worked this out at 7 burpees every minute. Are you confident you can pull it off?
Yeah, do you know what I am? I've done, like I said, I've been training for a little over 27 weeks for this challenge. You know, I've put my heart and soul into it, and I mean, we fail at things in life, but I don't think there's such thing as failure. I think there's, you know, we either live or we learn. I can only do what I can do. I've tried hard through these 27 weeks to put in everything that I possibly can. I've prepared myself physically and mentally, and we just got to go out there tomorrow. But yeah, I'm ready for it. I'm geared up. I'm hyped. You know, yeah, there's apprehensive, nervous, but you know, that's all part and parcel. It's normal. But I'm weirdly excited.
Good. And how can we support you finally, Jamie?
Well, look, just like as I said, the donations have gone through the roof. You know, the target was £10,000, £1 for every burpee. I think with online donations now, we're currently sat at just under 7,000, and then we've got an offline donation that was donated this week of 1,000. So with all the gift aid on top, we're just shy of 10,000 now.
Wow, which
is absolutely incredible, and you know, just amazing to be able to hand the charity. That will be superb. So anything else anybody can spare would just to get us to that 10,000 or over that 10,000 would be incredible.
Well, I think he's incredible. I mean, can you imagine it? He's at it now. 7 burpees every minute, 10,000 in 24 hours. He started at midday today. It's 24 hours, so he finishes at midday tomorrow. I've worked it out on my abacus, and we wish him well, and he will do it, because he is determined. Right, let's go back to Edgar Street, shall we? Hereford, good day for the Bulls today. They've beaten Curzon Ashton by 3-1. They've turned their form around. Carson Wishart, I believe, is with the boss.
Right, what a game of football, first of all. It had everything, and back to winning ways. You must be delighted.
Yeah, really pleased with the result. this stage of the season, it's all about the result rather than the performance. But I thought we performed really well after the first 15-20 minutes. We had some really good chances in the first half. And in the second half, I thought we controlled for large parts of the game, and then they get their goal back. And we know Cousin Ashton have got the best away record in the division, so we knew that there would be a reaction. And they're a good team. Craig's a brilliant manager. He's done brilliant stuff with them at Cousin, and that's again, we've done the double over a team up the top end, so we're really pleased with the result.
The spark seemed to be back, the confidence was flowing through the veins. Did Amari, Sterling James provide that, do you think?
Yeah, just an experienced player. He understands the game, he understands his position, his delivery is second to none, and he just kind of sparked us off. He wants to try and get shots off. As I say, his delivery is excellent. He's put a couple of brilliant balls in. One that Rem's got on the end of at the back post, and then Tate puts a brilliant one in late on in the first half that Rem gets on the end of again, and Tate hits the bar, and you just start to build that little bit of momentum.
3 golden chances at the end of the first half. We made Campbell 2 headers. Tate Campbell hits the bar. Were you worried at that point that it might not be our day? What did you say at half time?
No, just the messages was we're going into our punters, we're going into our supporters, and we know that they'll get behind us and they'll give us everything, that bit of energy, and that's exactly what we got. They were right behind the players, and the players reacted. Jayden scores a brilliant goal. And then we're just on the front foot, and I always tell the players, once we go, it's different if we score a goal in the 88th minute to make it 1-0, I can understand it, but when we score one, I want us to keep going and get the second and get the third. I don't want to be a team that tries to protect, because that's not us, to be honest. So we're really pleased with the result overall, but our feet's firmly on the ground, as well.
Football's a funny old game, as someone once said, isn't it? Because at Marine, 2 goals up and you sat back. Do you think you learned from that result? Because you're, as you say, on the front foot after the first goal and got the second. We made Campbell with such a cool finish.
Yeah, it's just all about, football's all about moments. What I've got to say is Marine have conceded 2 goals in the last 7 games, and it was against us. So Marine are on a terrific run, and fair play to them. But it was just, football's all about moments, and I didn't want to make excuses after games like Russia and that, but if we score in the first half against Russia, it's a different game when Jayden's had a chance and stuff like that. And again, football's all about moments, it's all about timing, and today we scored at a decent time and then followed it up.
Disappointed though with the goal, but it didn't make it nervy in a way, because you went back up the other end and Cisse got a brilliant third.
Yeah, disappointed. Always disappointed when you concede goals. That's a matter of that's football. You do concede goals, and you can pick the bones out of every single goal you concede. But I think we'll stick to the positives. The lads done really well to bounce back in front of a decent support again, and we're really pleased. And Cisse coming on and getting his goal was really pleasing. And I think it was probably a tad fortunate in terms of, I've got to say, I think to give Cousin a bit of back in the decision to award a drop ball up in the corner was a bit mad, to be honest, after it hitting the referee, the linesman who stands behind the line on the face then. But we've been at the other side of decisions, so when they come your way, you've just got to accept it.
A proverbial 6-pointer against a real opponent in terms of the top 7. How do you see it now? You're back in the top 6 tonight.
I know I'm going to sound as if it's an old cliche. It doesn't really bother me, to be honest. I think we are well and truly punching above our weight. If anyone internally at the football club will tell you exactly that, but again, we're here, so why not give it a go? And that's exactly what we'll do. And it's easy, and I see and I hear people after we lose games of football. It's so easy to say there was a lack of effort and there was no desire. That should never be branded at this group. There's never a lack of effort or never a lack of desire. You lose games of football, it's an easy comment to come out with and say that we lacked effort and lacked desire. We never do. So we'll just get on with it. We've got 6 games left, and we'll just take each game as it comes.
And it's non-league day today, 2,600 fans here as well, and they really believed in there. After that first goal went in, they were terrific.
Yeah, they were great, absolutely brilliant. Non-league day today, and I think they turned up in their numbers as they always do, and really pleased with them. But the most pleasing thing is we've sent them home happy. We've sent them home with some goals, and we've just got to keep building on that. I said to the players after the game that there's not loads and loads of difference and massive quality in the league. It's all about consistency. If you build a bit of consistency, you've got a chance, and that's what we've got to try and do the next 6 games.
And Farsley away next at Buxton. Is there a little bit of added pressure there, because everyone's going to expect you to beat Farsley? They've got their problems, respect to them. Does that put a little bit of added pressure on the proverbial banana skin?
Nah, no, for us. I know Kiddy went there and won quite heavily. Scunny went there full-time team and only won 2-0, so absolutely not. We've got to be respectful to everybody in the league. David Stockdale's someone I know really well, and he'll get the players up for it, but it's easy to look at it like it probably was from the outset for people to look at Russia away when they were struggling for us to go and turn them over. It's not like that. The game's on 4G, it's a different type of surface. They're a young, energetic team who, by the way, are fighting tooth and nail for their football club, so we absolutely respect them, and we won't prepare any different to Farsley away than we would when we play Kiddy away.
No complacency there. Congratulations today, Paul. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Cheers.
Well, he's losing his voice, but he's sounding much better, isn't he? And why not? 2,600 at Edgar Street, 3,263 at Agborough. Great crowds across the patch today. And a win. We're fighting well. We're punching well above our weight. That's the thoughts of the manager, Paul Caddis. So Hereford, as I said before, back in amongst the playoffs. 6th in the league, 3-1 against Kirsch and Ashton. And on they go with 6 to play.
Sport on Saturday.
BBC Hereford and Worcester.
4 hours, 10 modes of transport, one crazy commute. BBC Hereford and Worcester presents Tammy's Retro Ride to Work for comic relief.
Never ever would you expect space hoppers, moon boots, or a rally chopper to get you from Malvern to Worcester. Thank you so much for tooting the horn, for your messages, your support, your donations. These 2 counties are brimming with kindness, and I am so grateful. Thank you. And you know what? If you missed any of it, you can listen back to all of it on BBC Sounds.
Tammy's Retro Ride to Work for comic relief.
On BBC Hereford and Worcester.
Good stuff. She did ever so well. It's 5:20 to 6. It's BBC Hereford and Worcester. This is Sport on Saturday. We're going to hear very shortly from Phil Brown at Kidderminster Harriers. We'll also try and get Mike Ford on, the Evesham United boss. But first, I'm going to take you to a place that you just didn't see coming. Bit of bobsleigh for you. A bit of Bewdley bobsleigh. I know they don't do bobsleigh in Bewdley, but bear with me. It's a lovely story. The British bobsleigh team have continued their recent run of success after winning a bronze medal in the World Championships at Lake Placid over the weekend. The team includes Bewdley's own Aaron Gulliver. See? Bewdley, bobsleigh, it's all come together all of a sudden. I knew it would. Now, they've won 5 gold medals, 5 silvers and 2 bronze at the World Cups this season. They've won a silver at a previous World Championship, and now this, a bronze in the World Championship with the Winter Olympics on the horizon. It's all getting very exciting for them. I've been speaking to Aaron. He's a lovely lad. First of all, I wished him congratulations on the medal.
Yeah, thanks very much. Yeah, it was a tough couple of days of racing, but came away with the medal, and was kind of our main aim going into this major champs. So yeah, very pleased.
And looking back over the season, you have had an incredible campaign, haven't you?
We have, yeah. It's been brilliant, and the whole team's done so well. Everybody's performed really well. It's been great for all of us. Yeah, everyone on the team has come away with medals, major medals. European Championships 3rd, overall World Cup 3rd. We've won gold medals in with that as well. I've had some great races, and it's all very promising. Looking forward to next year in the Olympics.
Well, I've had to get my abacus out. 5 gold medals in the World Cup, 5 silvers, 2 bronze. You got this, you mentioned the Euros. What do you think it is about British bobsleighing at the moment, Aaron, that is creating this purple patch, if you like?
We've got a very close-knit team that have been doing this for a while now, and we're very well oiled. We've got a world-class driver in Brad, who knows how to run a team, knows how to run a world-class programme. Now we've got the British Bobsleigh and Skeleton Federation as well, who give us everything we need. All our expenses are covered. UK Sport helps out a lot, and we're constantly trying to develop our kit and wind tunnels and stuff like that. But really, it's the kind of systems that we've built and put in place that help us achieve these things at this level. And we're very, very stringent with everything that we do, and we like to get everything right, and that's what you have to do at this level. It's the devil's in the details. So I think that's what goes into this, and why we're doing so well right now.
And for the uninitiated, where are you in the bobsleigh, and what's your role, Aaron?
So in this race, I was racing at number 2. It's a 4-man bob, so I was just behind the driver, and there's two other guys behind me. And my role on that handle there is to basically hit the sled as hard as I can, accelerate it up to the speed that as fast a speed as possible, and then load proficiently. So predominantly as a number 2 guy, it's all about the push start and getting that sled up to the highest velocity possible before I get in. But I have also this season I've competed on the 3 and 4 handles, so I've competed on all 3 brakeman handles, if you like, and won a medal on all handles as well, which is great. It's been a really successful season. But yeah.
The end of the season now, will you be coming back to Bewdley? What happens to you now? Do you have some downtime, some rest time?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll be back in Bewdley, back to my wife who's waiting at home. She's actually 6 months pregnant right now, so we're expecting a baby in the summer. So that's going to be the big thing for me this summer. But yeah, back for a week, and then me and my wife go away on holiday for a week, which will be lovely. And then slowly start getting back into training, all the while trying to prepare for the baby to come, and then see how life changes after that. So yeah.
So no rest whatsoever.
No, I don't think so.
No. And how, growing up in Bewdley, did you get so proficient in the world of bobsleigh?
Well, I've always been, I suppose, a sporty character, and used to love sport growing up. Ask any of the PE teachers down at Bewdley High School. PE was always my favourite subject, and I had 2 PE teachers as parents as well. So I didn't really stand a chance when it came to sport. Really, I had no choice. But no, I love it, and I've poured my heart and soul into it. And I think the choices I've made in the past, sort of transferring into different sports, have lent themselves well to getting into bobsleigh. So probably the biggest one was transferring into track and field, where I really learned how to run. And that obviously, is a key part of the bobsleigh. So that's what enabled me to transfer into sport so well. But then as soon as I came into the sport, I've had really great mentors as well in the other athletes and coaches. So it's kind of accelerated my progress a bit and got me to this level.
And now, dare I say it, is it all eyes on the Winter Olympics and a possible medal there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this was, Lake Placid, where we were, is actually the backup track for the Olympics. If the Italians don't manage to build the track in time, they're doing well. So I think it will be in Milan. But everything we do is always angled towards that, and it's going to be the end of a sort of big 4-year push to get there. And I think we're in a prime position to go for gold in Milan. And look, we've got a whole summer in front of us of training, getting better, developing our kit, and we'll see what we can bring to the table next year.
And you wouldn't back against them. Watch them for the Winter Olympics. That's Bewdley's Aaron Gulliver, part of the British bobsleigh team. Let's go back to the football and back to Agborough now. Kidderminster Harriers 4, it finished. Needham Market 1. Harriers marching up the table and getting close. Have they timed their run to perfection? Chris Williams is with the boss.
Well, Phil, after the drama of Tuesday against Scunthorpe, a routine win was asked for, and that's what you got.
It was almost an after the Lord Mayor's show performance, and I don't mean that negatively with regards to chances that we created or the goals. It was just the energy levels. Having done 126 kilometres or whatever it was on Tuesday night, I knew it was going to be a big ask, and I knew the first goal was going to be important. I'm not saying they came with a game plan or they came to frustrate, but it was one of them. It was almost like, I've just said this to the players, it was almost the feel I got from them, was almost the feel that we were putting out last year when we're in a relegation battle, and it's a horrible place to be. But the lesson that you learn is do it properly and you'll never be involved in a relegation battle. Do it properly as a group, and you do the basics right, but you've got to find out what the basics are. If the manager, you've got to find out what the basics are. And I think it goes back to pre-season, when we put all these foundations in place. But there's 1 or 2 players that have come brand new to the change room, and they're just bringing, I don't know, just an extra body in. I don't need an extra body. I need people that are going to contribute between now and the end of the season. But it wasn't the same tempo as Tuesday night. It wasn't the same level of performance as Tuesday night. But I suppose the only shock we got was when we conceded a goal and there was, 15 minutes to go or whatever it was. Did they have enough? I don't think they did, unfortunately, But we had enough to go and get another goal, and more importantly, it was another hat-trick for Ashley Evans, who's putting a massive statement down to everybody at this club, at the clubs that he's playing against, and to this league in particular. That he's a damn good player, and something that we need to just bring out every so often and polish and let him go and do what he does.
He's having an incredible run, hasn't he?
Brilliant. It's really good. It's one of them where I don't think he even looks at the facts and the figures that are thrown his way from statistics point of view, etc., etc. He just gets, he seems to brush it all down and get on with his game. He's such a natural born talent. And we've got the beauty of that, you know, alongside a very robust, resilient striker who's formed a great partnership both on and off the field of play. And Maz Kuya, who you've described as mercurial. So they've got, all three of them have got something different to offer. And the last questions of defenders, and that's all you want for your strike force. But not only that, I think didn't possibly get the system wrong. I just think the replacement for Dave Worrell wasn't quite working the same style as what Dave Worrell brings to the party, or even Joe Fawkes. That's not saying that, you know, Riley Reynolds can't play right wing back, or can't play right wing, or can't play full back. It's not saying that at all. It's just he brought something different. But you can actually see he wants to be in the thick of it. He wants to be in the middle of the park. And when we changed system and we got an immediate response, it was just we were a different team, you know. I think the biggest challenge we had was to convince Rhys Devine that he can play left back, because he hasn't actually played there particularly, either in pre-season or this season. So there's certain things that I've learned again about the players with 7 games to go. But the main thing is that they're breathing life into this town, into this football club, into me, and they look like they're really enjoying it, which is brilliant news for me.
The one downside was Cam Candler going off. Is that a bad one?
Again, you're hoping that I think the way you look at the mentality of a group of players, and when they're in the thick of it, sometimes they make rash decisions with the ball or without the ball. But then the moment come along that he felt a sharp pain, and when you feel a sharp pain, it's normally a sign that, you know, you've caused yourself a little bit of damage. But he went down straight away. He's a sensible lad. If he's intercepted anything long-term or bigger, well played, because we will need Cam between now and the end of the season. Whether he's going to be available for the next game, I doubt that very much, but the balance of that may be the fact that we might have Dave Worrell back. So let's have a look at it. But I've got to say it, I think Dave Davis came on the field of play and looks like he'd never been away. Great experience, showed what he was all about, and we're going to need that kind of experience come the end of the season for sure.
You touched on Riley Reynolds. I thought he grew into the game. You could see he was struggling with that wing back. It's a difficult one to come into, isn't it? If you're not sure, not sure where you are when you're defending. Once you got him into the game, he created he was involved in 3 of the goals.
Well, he's one of them players that, you know, I think there's a lot of players like this, you know, the younger lads, they've come through the apprenticeship and they've been taught by different coaches, etc., etc. But in the main, understanding what academy football's all about, then going into league campaigns, either at Notts County or Kidderminster Harriers, you know, it's a man's game, etc., etc. And you're going to get found out if you think it's going to be easy. He's not one of them. He's not one of them that doesn't think it's easy for 1 minute, but he's blessed with a lot of ability, and that comes easy to him. The one thing you've got to control it as a manager is find out where to apply his trade in the middle of the park. Is it going to be on the front line? Is it going to be in the position he found himself for the first 25 minutes? I've worked it out. It's certainly not that position for sure. But when he went in the middle of the park, as you made reference to, he's got a hold of the game, and he brings something different to the party that Zach Brown, I'm not saying can't do, but doesn't do, and certainly where David Davis is concerned, and Cam Candler. So he's a good, what shall we say, he's going to be a player, there's no doubt about it. He's just a pup, he's 19-year-old, and he might just have a run of games in the team down to 1 or 2 injuries. With that in mind, he found himself out of the team at the wrong time, and it wasn't his fault. Basically, we were answering questions about a red card, etc., etc. So he found himself out of the team, but now he's back in the team. He certainly showed the Kidderminster Harriers fan what he can do.
You're up to 3rd. Big game to come on Tuesday at Brackley.
This one to bed and straight on it, as you've got to make reference to in terms of questions. My mentality straight away went to the analyst, Billy, who had one eye on the game, and he was telling me that Brackley had afforded the luxury of 4 rested players. Suggests that they've got a big enough squad to do that. They've rested 4 and took a chance and won the game, so it's worked for them today. Will they be fresh and we won't? That doesn't matter at this stage of the season. I think we're fighting for the same cause, and that comes down to people's mentality individually and collectively. Will we look unfit on Tuesday night? No, it'll just be another Scunthorpe, and we'll show Brackley exactly what we're all about. We can't afford to rest players. We will be at our strongest, and hopefully we'll give them a game, because we'll bring my A game to the party.
And finally, how would you rate Dave Worrell? 60-40, 70-30?
I have been a gambling man, as you well know. Like me horses, I don't know. The way Dave was talking the other day, it could be 75-25. Hopefully in our favour. Let's see. We haven't administered any kind of long-term plan, etc., etc. But Dave's loan's coming to a stage where I want to extend it, but I'm not going to extend it if he's an injured player. It's one of them where you've still got to balance the books. It doesn't matter what happens. But deadline's approaching quick. So we might be doing a bit of business between now and Brackley, and certainly be doing a business maybe after Brackley, before the window closes. So let's see and hope that one of them will be Dave Worrell coming into the camp and fit for Tuesday.
Great stuff. Phil Brown, fighting talk from him. He's a gambling man. Stick a few quid on Harriers automatic promotion. Let's see. Brackley next on Tuesday, another 6-pointer. After the news at 6 o'clock, Nina Dasgupta's with you. Let's find out what she's up to.
BBC Upload. BBC Upload.
Tonight from 6 o'clock on BBC Upload, we're celebrating the best creatives in our area, including the brilliant Charlotte Falconbridge, who's on the edge of world domination with her writing. Also, we're going to be meeting the West Midlands podcaster behind a huge new BBC Sounds podcast, some incredible poetry coming your way from Birmingham, and a spoken word festival in the West Midlands. And a Midlands legend is turning 80. We're going to be celebrating him too. All that and more coming up tonight from 6 on BBC Upload.
Sounds good, doesn't it? Nina Dasgupta from 6.
BBC Upload.
BBC Upload.
Nina Dasgupta.
Right, we've heard from the Kidderminster Harriers camp. We've heard from the Hereford camp. What about Evesham? They go marching on. They're 2 off the top now. They've beaten Cribbs by 2-0 this afternoon. The manager, Mike Ford, is with Steve Carley.
I'm joined here at the Jubilee Stadium by Evesham manager Mike Ford. And Mike, another 3 points, a clean sheet. You must be very happy with how that's finished today.
Yeah, I've just done another interview. Only because they asked me first, by the way. And I just said 2-0 is a really good scoreline. If you pick the paper up tomorrow and you see somebody's won 2-0 home or away, you go professional performance. Nick a couple of goals, keep a clean sheet, and you win the game. And it's funny, actually, we talked at half-time about how I felt we were just looking to keep a clean sheet and nick a goal from a set piece, because I didn't think we showed enough ambition. We looked a bit edgy and we didn't control the game enough. And we scored 2 goals from set pieces. I thought in that period, I put Sam Bailey on. Sam was really good for us. He's a brilliant kid, and he was really good for us today. And we ended up pinning them back. They couldn't get out. And then we get corner after corner, free kick after free kick. They can't get out until he gets 2 goals, and you win the game. And talking about 2-0 being a professional, comfortable 90 minutes performance, probably. We had a couple of scares, but no more than that. And I don't think Alex has made a save. And we win the game.
It was 14 corners, all told, I think, by my count. But when it was the 77th minute when the goal came, were you beginning to get a little nervous that perhaps that it wasn't going to come?
Do you know what? It's funny because I can do, but I didn't feel today that we weren't going to score. And we had to show patience in the second half, especially. And we did, and I think we played some really good stuff. Like I said, we kept the ball up the pitch. We got Levi down the side at the right time. We got the ball into the fullbacks who, playing against their shape, was our outballs, and we did much better with it. And I just felt we were going to get at least one. And when we got the first, I thought we were going to get a second here, and that really killed the game, really suffocated them, and we just kept chipping the ball in the corner, keeping them up their end of the pitch. And like I said, 2-0 is a professional, safe, secure performance result-wise and points, and I felt it was that sort of performance today for us.
The good run continues. You've closed the gap on Yate at the top. They only drew today, so it's 3 points behind. Are you looking at perhaps chasing them down for the title, or is it just get the games done and see where that leaves you?
Again, having just spoken to somebody else, we just got to take care of our own performances. I can't speak for Yate. They've been top for 6, 7, 8 months. And it's always been theirs to lose. A few weeks ago they could have gone 15 points clear of us, All we got to do is our bit. Yate can worry about themselves. I ain't worried about what results mean. All I want interested in is our result. And if our result increases the gap between us and the teams below, brilliant. If it decreases the gap between us and Yate, okay, fantastic. But if we don't win, the gap's going to be what it is. So we just got to focus on what we're doing. And to be fair to my players, they've been brilliant in that over recent weeks. I think that the pressure of being in and around the top hasn't affected us. I think, everyone talks about, not everyone, I've heard it often, that people and supporters and managers and coaches thought we'd be in and around it, but it's easy to say that, isn't it? You've got to go and do it.
What is it about your players that's impressed you? Can you put your finger on where this run's come from and what's kept it going?
Well, we lost here on Boxing Day. We've only lost one game since, and we went to Bristol Manor Farm, and looking back, and I knew it was a big game anyway, it was absolutely huge, and I was angry with them, really angry, because I thought we hadn't looked after ourselves properly, and one or two players had been really poor, and I let them know about my anger, and we won, and I think that result and performance was absolutely huge. And my teams have always been teams that work really hard. They keep lots of clean sheets, and they're gritty and determined. And I think we have found some grittiness and determination in every game we played. Not saying we, before that Manor Farm game, we didn't have that. But I think we've had to show massive amounts of it over the last few weeks. And, if you want a team that's going to scrap for you, that's my group of players out there this afternoon.
And finally, it's Tavistock away next week, so you've got a week to prepare for that. So what are your thoughts going into that one, or is it too soon?
We'll just do the same as normal. We'll go and we'll train Tuesday. We'll have a little look at the game today. We're trying to improve every week, so we'll have a chat about the performance today, some little things we can do better. Train twice this week, and we'll go get on a coach and go to Tavistock next week. So I think at our level, crikey, at the top level, you got no time to rest on your laurels or celebrate a victory. But crikey, we all got to go to work Monday. I got to go and teach a group of level 2 sports students who are 16 to 19, and God knows what they've been up to at the weekend. So we need to support each other, and we need to just enjoy working hard, enjoy running, enjoy tackling, enjoy the game, enjoy the performance, enjoy the result, and then get back to work next Tuesday.
It's fantastic, isn't he? Mike Ford there, the Evesham United boss. And performance of the day, well, you'd have to go a long way to beat him, wouldn't you? Ashley Hemmings, another hat-trick as Harriers win again. Another match ball, Ashley. Here's the goal that did it.
And Hemmings, is he onside? Flag stays down, he looked offside to me. Keeper to beat. Hemmings has scored! Another hat-trick for Ashley Hemmings, his third of the season. Well, he looked offside. The Needham Market bench are enraged by that. The flag stayed down there, and I wondered why Dibble was clearing at this stage of the game as he did. Well, that's the reason why. He saw Hemmings in space, just the keeper to beat. The keeper got a hand to it, but Hemmings saw the ball trickle into the net, and in the final minutes of stoppage time, it's Harriers 4, Needham Market 1. Ashley Hemmings with a hat-trick.
Where does he put all the match balls? That's what I want to know. So, as we reach the final furlongs of the season, in this patch, the two counties, we have Harriers, Hereford, Evesham, Malvern and Worcester City all well in contention for promotion. Never mind that, Droitwich will win the Hellenic League Division 1 title as well. It is going to be a fantastic, 5 or 6 weeks for us on BBC Hereford and Worcester. I suggest you don't miss a thing. I'm just saying. Here are the closing headlines. Kidderminster Harriers extend their unbeaten run to 7 matches after that 4-1 win over Needham Market. You've heard his goal, the third one anyway. Ashley Hemmings scored another hat-trick. That brings his total for the season to 27. Maz Kuyar also got on the score sheet. The win takes Harriers up to third in the table. They're just 5 off the top now, and another 6-pointer on Tuesday night against Brackley to come. Blimey. Meanwhile, thank heavens for that, Hereford have finally found the goals again. A 3-1 win for the Bulls against promotion rivals Curzon Ashton. Hereford's first victory in 5 games, and sighs of relief all round for Paul Caddis and his men. Jaden White, the goal scorer. Remy Campbell got one, and Yusufu Cisse on target. That win puts the Bulls back in amongst it as far as the playoffs are concerned. 6th in the table with 6 to play. See? It's excitement wherever you look. In the Southern League Premier Central, there were defeats for both Bromsgrove Sporting, who went down 2-1 against Banbury United, and Redditch United were beaten 1-0 in a basement battle at Sudbury. Big trouble now for the Reds and Matt Clark. They are teetering on the brink, and that's not what we wanted to see. Alfchurch drew 1 apiece at home to Leiston. Tim Flowers preparing really for next season now, though, isn't he? Worcester City continued to cement their playoff place in the Northern Premier League Midlands Division. City beat Boldmere St Michael's by 2-0. And Malvern and Evesham go marching on, don't they? The Robins, you just heard from the manager Mike Ford, just 2 points off the top. They're reigning yet in. 2-0 win over Cribbs, that's 1 defeat in 15 for them. Malvern unbeaten in 11. The Hillsiders beat Bashley 5-2. They're still banging on the playoff door and hoping to break it down. They will. And if rugby's your thing, National 2 West, good afternoon for Luctonians again. 2 on the bounce now as far as wins are concerned for them. They beat struggling Bourneville, but it wasn't easy. 27 Bourneville to 38 Lux. We go again on Tuesday night. We never stop on this show. It's Brackley Town versus Kidderminster Harriers. 2 teams right in amongst it again. And then on Saturday, Hereford go to Farsley Celtic. They should win there. And Kidderminster take on Peterborough Sports. It's all up for grabs, as the man once said, as we approach the business end of the season. Thank you for your company on BBC Hereford and Worcester today. I'll see you on the bench tomorrow from 6 night.